We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. Take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we
One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. A mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's time to check the mic and best the bet. I'm about to wreck it to the leather. Jealous people hate but don't debate. Just check my measures. Electric by design. I even shine in stormy weather. Attempt to meddle and tether this mental treasure, and you find yourself embedded in the chasm in the desert. Thirsting for hydration, no libation, empty kettle. Take it to another level, add the bullet in the shovel. Got you on the bubble, double trouble. See you stumbled, and it's about to get repugnant like a kitten in the rumble. Quick to fluff and tumble, best be humble when we come through, cause I have you stiffing under. Mama wonder where you went to.
1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. What you gon' do? It's the KCE crew. We making you look like Fu Manchu. Proper grasshopper who with the kung fu. Cut and slice nice like Benny Hanna do. Take quick bites like the tip of a piranha tooth. Go ahead and steal my mic, watch it blow up right in front of you. We coming to give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Who do you think you are? You ain't gonna get real far. Driving your shifty car, following Diddy farts. I'ma be a Twitter star. I'ma be a Twitter star. Keep dreaming about how big you are, cause we about to pick apart everything that's in your heart. Control and leave you torn to shards. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. Selling junk like Sanford son. Wax on, wax off Daniel son. Selling junk like Sanford son.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. I'm tripping cause my mind's gone from always seeing tragedies. Can't close my eyes cause it's around me, I just call it reality. Can't paint no perfect picture like an artist they can't sell. It's what they try to instill in me, but my pockets seem to swell. Doing it like them ghetto boys did it back in those days. And we been jamming Pippin Bun, long live UGK. And before Eminem, we had Bill and Gangsta Nip. But we don't trip unless we on the plane taking a trip. And these suckers trying to contest us, but they find out we ain't no busters. We much more than screw, we keep it gutter. Mic check 1 2, y'all cannot touch us. We don't be causing no problem, son. Coming at me like Daniel, son. You would get defeated, wax on, wax off, out to the righteous one.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2. That's mic check. 1 2 1 2. You already know. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Dude, I could blink my eyes and provide an entire fountain of sound effects pounding directly on your neck, having flashbacks of the tragic act back when the boom bap was replaced with pop rap or hip hop or whatever you call that. We need a lockbox or something to keep this weak pox from spreading. I'm heading outside of the outsiders, opening your mind wider. Silly rabbits are at it again, but they can't hide us. Sit tight, Mr. Hip Hop. We'll find your daughter. Ought to be easy. She emits a homing frequency. We picked it up back in '98, and we're actually surprised that it took us so long to triangulate her exact location. But congratulations, check it out. We about to get her right now. We already found the captors, trapped them and slapped them around. And burn the hideout to the ground.
Yeah, a 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Let's make it hot. A 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
How y'all doing out there? Remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take my word for it. Look that shit up, please. Anyways, I've been gone for a week. I'm sorry about that. I apologize, you guys. I was sick. I didn't feel good, and my son been in town for Thanksgiving week, so I kind of wanted to spend time with him, and I didn't feel well. So, just not feeling well wouldn't have kept me off the show, but the combination of Thanksgiving week, my son being here and being sick, it was just way too much, and also finals and stuff at school. Way too much going on. Way too much. So if I'm muting a lot during the show today, it's because I'm sneezing or coughing or something, because I'm still getting over this green shit coming up, but I feel better. Anyways, so Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, the Omicron variant, so many things is happening, so much new stuff has happened over this last week. I don't know what that's about. Lots of stuff. But, the thing is about the trial, one of the reasons why I want to touch on that one is because I feel like this is America on trial. This is our way of life, our way of living, what we accept. You know what I mean? I'll explain more later, but it's we have the child beauty pageants, they had that movie with the little girls who were dancing on Netflix. and everybody was all mad about that stuff. And and I completely understand. It's just that it's selective. It's like we choose what to be outraged about. Like it's like someone is telling us there's a trigger where someone is telling us what to be outraged about, and we have all this stuff going on in entertainment that's related to child sex trafficking that goes on right. It's not like covert. It's like really right in front of your face. But you're like, meh, because it's like no one's telling you to be outraged about that, even though you look at it and it catch your eye too, and you'd be like, that's kind of weird. But nobody says anything, so whatever, So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about that trial. I want to talk about let's go ahead and go into that. The South African thing, where the Omicron variant was discovered. I just want to clear some of this stuff up, man. First off, South Africa is really good at detecting diseases and shit like that, because they've dealt with Ebola and a bunch of fucking really fucking nasty, scary fucking shit. So they have an infrastructure for detecting, infectious diseases. They have a really good infrastructure related to that. So that's the reason why they were able to come across this Omicron variant, because they are testing for shit all the time. So, but they're making it look like the media and a lot of you guys out there who don't really understand what's happening is they're making it look like that this variant it came from Africa or whatever. It came from South Africa and it was brewed there. So, but there is an argument related to okay, the vaccines, we're the human community, right? So if we want to make sure that we don't get sick, I've been screaming this since the beginning. I'm tired of saying it, but if you are concerned about yourself not getting sick, then you should be concerned about your neighbor not getting sick. If your neighbor has health care and healthcare coverage and be able to go to the doctor, then there's a better chance that he won't get sick. If there's a better chance that your neighbor won't get sick, there's a better chance that you don't get sick. And we have neighbors all around the world, literally. The Omicron variant don't give a damn about the borders that you guys have made up. Nobody, the disease don't give a damn about this national pride shit. Okay, the air, it's the airplanes, the the ships, the mosquitoes themselves, the birds, the migratory birds. Come on, you guys, they don't care about these borders. So those are carriers of these diseases all the time. And it's okay, like I say, the reason why South Africa came out with it so fast is because they have the infrastructure to detect this stuff, and they're trying to be good. They're trying to help everyone out. As a human, I'm gonna play something on the screen in a moment. I'm about to play this video, but the Omicron variant, they discovered that shit in South Africa. It was already everywhere. Okay, and there is an argument for making sure that other people have vaccines or whatever, just healthcare, period, so that we can all be healthy. But I'm going to play a bit of this video.
Kim, what's on your radar?
Well, South Africa is being treated like the pariah of the world after we all woke up the day after Thanksgiving to the globe coming to a halt over the newly discovered COVID variant Omicron. Suddenly, the stock market was falling, countries were closing down their borders, and travel bans were being placed on southern African countries. South Africa took offense to the travel bans, calling them knee-jerk, insisting there was no real evidence the variant came from an African country. Instead, they felt they were being punished for discovering it. On top of this, doctors treating Omicron patients in South Africa were saying the variant presents with such mild symptoms that the hype makes no sense at all.
And these symptoms not the same. It's very mild. And up until today, the patients that we've seen are mild patients, mild symptoms. And the ones that I have seen from the 18th up until now, all of them recovered. None has been admitted. No oxygen necessary so far, and also no indication of any oxygen
Okay, so
in response to the new variant, people are once again blaming the unvaccinated and the undervaccinated. Fingers are being pointed at South Africa, a country with only about 25% fully vaccinated, and they're pointing at the entire continent of Africa as a whole, which is just over 10%, having had only one dose of the vaccine as being the cause for the variant. The idea is if the virus is allowed to spread unabated, variants will form. Okay, but what gives people the idea Africa is experiencing high levels of spread? People assume because Africa has extremely low vaccination rates that the virus must be running rampant on the continent. But look at this map. Africa has extremely low levels of spread. Even South Africa, which has more than most of the continent, is still seeing much lower rates than places like the United States, Europe, and Russia. And if you don't believe the case rates, look at the death rates. Africa, for whatever reason, simply hasn't been hit that hard with the virus. Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's background immunity, maybe they don't have enough global visitors, maybe they just haven't been hit hard yet. Whatever it is, it's clear they're not a hotspot for spread. That would obviously be Europe, Russia, and the United States by looking at the maps. Yet the narrative that's currently circulating is the reason we ended up with Omicron is because of poor vaccination rollout in Africa. Some are blaming the pharmaceutical companies for not releasing their patents, claiming big pharma greed is what has kept the world from gaining access to the valuable vaccines. But that's not entirely true. A lot of people in Africa just don't want the vaccine. In fact, 2 days before Omicron mayhem hit the news, Reuters reported that South Africa had asked Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer to stop sending in their vaccines because people were just not interested in taking them. They said there was too much hesitancy in the adult population and they had an overabundance of the shots and would offer the rest to 12 to 17-year-olds. 2 days later, a strange new variant was announced, labeled by the WHO as a variant of concern, and travel bans on Southern Africa were enacted. Now, what's odd is health experts have admitted they know next to nothing about this new variant. They don't know yet if it's more contagious. They don't know if it causes the same or worse or even lesser symptoms than Delta. They don't even know how widespread it is. Yet they gave it a label, variant of concern, that they haven't even given to previous variants which have wreaked havoc in parts of the world. For example, the Lambda variant, which ravaged through Peru, causing Peru to have the highest rate of deaths in the world, a variant that swept through South America, a variant that is in the United States. And in fact, Florida's Jackson Memorial Hospital says accounted for 3% of their hospitalizations this summer, is still labeled as a variant of interest, one step lower than a variant of concern. Perhaps the collective freakout was over the fact travelers were appearing all over the world infected with the variant. People in the UK, Hong Kong, Israel, Netherlands, Australia, Germany, Denmark, Canada, and more were testing positive with Omicron. What's more is we know that in order for people to travel internationally, they most likely need to have been vaccinated. Botswana announced the initial people infected with Omicron in their country were 4 fully vaccinated foreign diplomats. They had visited the African country and had left in early November. Germany requires travelers entering the country to be fully vaccinated. So does Israel, so does Hong Kong, so does Australia, so does Canada, so does much of the world. It's very difficult right now to travel internationally if you're not fully vaccinated, unless you're a young child. 2 flights that were midair from Johannesburg to Amsterdam when the news broke about the variant were forced to divert their passengers to health officials where they waited for hours to undergo testing. 600 passengers were tested, and it turned out 10% of the plane came back positive with COVID. 61 passengers in total. Of the 61 who tested positive, only 13 had the new Omicron variant. The rest had Delta or possibly older variants, which makes us wonder how long this has been going on. Fully vaccinated people are not being regularly tested coming off a plane, so who knows? It was only an 11-hour flight. Health experts say it's not likely they caught the virus midair, then tested positive upon landing. 10% must have boarded the plane infected. Now, unvaccinated travelers headed to the Netherlands must test negative within 48 hours of boarding. Fully vaccinated passengers can board without being tested. This should perhaps call into question the idea that vaccinated passengers do not need to undergo testing prior to boarding.
Okay, so that should clear up a lot of shit. That should clear up a lot of shit for y'all, because the media is all over the place. The link should be there. It should be there. I'm gonna post it again. Oh. It says, okay. What's up, bro? Same old shit, bro.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, so yeah, I've been gone for a week. I'm back. I was feeling sick, and Tariq was here and shit. I'm still getting over that shit. So basically, that's the story.
What
Why
you
I've been gone. I've been
have a
drinking
cold?
ginger tea. Yeah, it's just like a chest cold, spitting up mucus and shit,
Yeah.
and making you feel
Said
tired and
turmeric.
shit. Nah, I didn't. I've been on ginger. I have fucked
It
with
said
turmeric before though.
ginger.
Yeah, I've been drinking ginger
That
tea mostly.
that turmeric or that what is it? Curcumin?
Yeah, turmeric. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Anyways, the Omicron variant, bro. Like it's like they're losing their damn mind, bro. Like, and there's so much information related to that. That's why I played this little video, hopefully to clear up some of the shit that's floating around the internet related to this shit. Talking about how it's coming from Africa and all of that. And then she just made an example about how like the people who are vaccinated are not getting tested, and these people are packing around COVID. You know what I'm saying? It happened because they stopped a
Well,
plane.
they're talking about.
Go ahead.
Well, they're talking about a lot of the immigrants that have been on free range coming from South America. Like they haven't, like they're no need, like they don't have to be tested or vaccinated. You just let them go free in America, and they don't want to talk about that because hey, you know what? They want to kill us off anyway.
Yeah, so it's like that's what's so
And,
crazy.
and because they're not making any money off of Africa with the shot, then and they got probably the lowest rates of shots, but also lower cases of cases. So it's like one, probably some of people that's visiting from either here or possibly Europe, or what I'm saying, that's visit to South Africa, and brought it there. It's not because of the Africans,
Most
some
likely,
Africans are
most
any of
likely
that,
that's what happened. Yeah, most likely that's what happened. So that's the thing though. But this,
I mean,
when you know
it's
the
really common
facts,
sense.
when you know it, then it busts holes all in their narrative. You know what I mean? When you know what's the real, you know what I mean? And the information is
True.
out there, and that's what I be saying all the time. Like,
True.
the information is out there. You just gotta, do a bit of digging. Think about why people are saying what they're saying. Like, why is this shit in the news? And then they made it all political, and people can't travel from South Africa. Like, it's travel bans galore as a result of this Omicron
But we
variant.
but we but we still got a wide open border of southern border. I mean, what
And
the fuck does it matter? I mean, anybody that wants to come in, all they got to do is come in through the fucking southern border.
it's all different kind of ways they could come in. They could just get vaccinated. That's the thing though. Think about what I'm saying though. The travel bans, right? And then like they're saying fully vaccinated people can travel, you know what I'm saying? And the lady was just saying that the people who was packing the damn COVID was all vaccinated people. Like a good percentage of them.
Well, but see, but that's the thing. That's the information that they're really trying to hide, is that most of the people who are sick are vaccinated, and it's not necessarily because I mean they're pointing the finger at it being COVID, really, like whatever it is that this technology is creating in people's bodies. So I mean, they're running with the excuse of COVID, but it's giving like what was it? Because they keep saying young people. So I mean, for me, that could be a wide range. It could be the kids that's vaccinated. It's like it could be 20 to 30. So I don't know what they really mean by that. But either way, if it's either one of those demographics, those age groups, shoot for blood clotting and you know, heart issues and this, that, and the other, that's an even bigger reason to be, you know, kind of, in up in arms about what's really going on, because that's the thing. Like anybody that's just listening to the news and don't do anything outside of like any other kind of research or getting sources, um, outside sources, gonna be programs. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like right now, that's the whole propaganda machine that's running, that's telling people that, oh, be scared because here's this new boogeyman that's floating around, but at the same time promoting the boogeyman. Most people don't realize that they're promoting the boogeyman.
Right. Making it more scary.
Well, no, well, I'm saying like the jab is the fucking boogeyman. Like
I
that's
get it.
what's actually hurting people more. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but
I
however,
get
yeah.
it. It's just sad, It's just sad. It's just sad. It's just sad because like this Omicron variant, they're saying mild symptoms. That's all they've seen from it. like the reaction to this is way over the top. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I have a real problem with that because like they're lying to people, telling them is one thing when it's another. It's not, what they're not being honest. And even, like, because I don't want to make it political, but you know, I'm just gonna say like there's a group of politicians that has to go to Europe to get, an idea of what's actually happening since the jab's been going around. And they're seeing the same thing, that it's the ones that's already vaccinated, but they're hiding it here because they know that most people don't research. They don't look past their nose to see, to really, they trust these people wholeheartedly. And, it's like, okay, wait a minute. If you know anything about how the system and how it's been working for the last 50 years, the reporting goes on like immediately. Like you start seeing they give specific reading, and they would like with the amount of deaths that's shown up by now, they would have turned it off. They would have been like they would have halted this thing from the beginning. Most people don't realize that. I mean, we're no longer under emergency practices, but we are still under experimental. Like they don't like that's the problem, because the TV will say it worded in such a way that makes people believe that it's just, hey, this is the wide open and everything is working properly and doing this job. And it's actually not. Like, I mean, they're hiding the results. And okay, if somebody dies, then they get to just say, oh, it was COVID, or they weren't jabbed or whatever. But that's like one of the biggest problems, that they're not being honest.
That's what's scary as fuck. And then people can see that, or they can feel it sometimes, and then they don't know. They don't trust anything that like anything that the government or anyone says at all. You know what I mean? And then but they don't have time to actually do research. So then you just got a bunch of cynical people walking around who don't trust the media, who don't trust nothing, and ain't trying to listen to nothing. Like, because sometimes it's good information, but they don't, now they've lost their trust in all organizations. So they don't not, you get what I'm saying?
No, I understand exactly. And, it's somewhat of a problem to me because, there are some of us that, has a chance to see, listen, hear, different points of views from doctors, nurses, scientists, these different things that has actually studied and tested and have their own conclusions of what's going on. But because it's not approved by CNN and Fox and this, that, and the other, or they start, because they start trying to say that one person, these people must be loony, or, oh, the fact checkers. No, the fact checkers work for these damn companies, the pharmaceutical companies. So yes, the fact checkers are gonna make it so that their people can keep going. This is who pays them. Like, I mean,
You can look that up all the time too, because it'll say who they're sponsored by. So that's just one more step that people have to do when they're looking in and they're taking in information, is just be like, okay, just keep in mind that this, they were sponsored by the company that, or whatever, or something like that. Like, follow the money. Like, just do that extra little step just so you can have a little bit more perspective.
You have to. And I mean, the internet, I mean, I don't, like my mom, for instance, or like, I mean, even my dad, like, yeah, they got smartphones. Well, my mom don't really have a smartphone, but however, like, as far as knowing how to do those little searches, quick searches and stuff like that, now she don't know. But there's plenty of people that can do these searches where they can save themselves and their family if they would just not just take every little word as if, and as if these people even deserve our trust. Like,
Yeah. And then it's clear that they be lying all the time. So you mentioned Europe. I want to play a bit of this video. Check it out.
The Belgian capital, Brussels, was today the latest European city to see unrest over tightened coronavirus restrictions. Tens of thousands of people marched in protest. Some threw fireworks at police officers who intervened with tear gas and water cannon. Belgium has just brought in new measures in the face of a sharp rise in infections. The protesters are mainly opposed to the use of COVID passes, which ban the unvaccinated from entering bars and restaurants. Protests have also taken place in Austria, Italy and Croatia. And in the Netherlands, there is now a third night of unrest. Our Europe correspondent Anna Holligan has this report from The Hague.
Another day of unrest, unsettling another European capital. This is Brussels tonight. What began as an organised peaceful march quickly turned nasty. Some protesters threw fireworks at police. Others targeted their vehicles. Officers intervened with tear gas and water cannon. Belgium has just brought in new rules in response to a sharp rise in infections. Demonstrators are mainly angry about the use of COVID passes, which stops the unvaccinated from entering venues such as restaurants or bars. Some object to plans to make vaccinations mandatory for health workers.
We know that the virus is there, but we leave it to people to decide whether or not to be vaccinated.
I came to give my opinion about freedom of expression and individual choice, and really to be able to respect everyone's choices.
The Netherlands witnessed the most extreme violence this weekend. Rotterdam was rocked by rioters. Police opened fire, shooting at the crowd with live rounds in response to what they described as a life-threatening situation. Vandals torched bicycles in The Hague. The Justice Minister believes organised criminals may be behind this.
These are not demonstrations. These are attacks on police and firefighters. More than 50 arrests have been made and many more will follow.
These startling demos, happening too in Austria, Croatia, and Denmark, reflect rumbling frustrations about the evolving COVID restrictions considered essential to bring down record high infection rates. And yet here, the Netherlands' top virologist has warned the rules introduced last weekend aren't yet having any impact on the number of new cases, which will raise concerns in countries across the continent dealing with competing visions on how best to emerge from this worse than expected fourth wave of the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has urged governments to redouble their efforts and reinforce the basics.
Average 48% of the European population is wearing a mask indoor. Any percentage above that will have an immediate effect.
With varying vaccine rates, getting the shots in is seen as critical, but they won't cure the distrust or divisions seeping through some European societies. And there's more trouble here in the Netherlands tonight. Small groups of people destroying things in the northern city of Groningen, and there are reports of unrest elsewhere too. Of course, the catalyst for all of this remains, and other countries are watching and wondering whether this latest disturbing symptom may be coming their way.
Anna, many thanks.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that they're looking in the wrong direction, and you know they're trying to point, like pointing the finger at people who are not like. I mean, you have to wonder why some. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's assumed that if you're unvaxxed, you're just stupid, and in most cases, they're the most educated. They're the ones who have actually had time to look through, comb through different, different viewpoints instead of just having their nose stuck in one channel or maybe even two channels or so. But it's TV, which is, meant to control the way you see things. That you're not using discernment. Like that's mostly like most people are not using their true discernment. They're just being told what is, and they go out and then they're willing to attack their own friends and family with being programmed by the media, the TV. The TV has told them that hey, here's your enemy, go get them.
And you just follow along like obediently.
Yeah, I mean, it's sheeple. Like we've been having these movies over the years that's been telling us about these people that we'll just like the whole go along to get along people like Kwame Brown talks about. You know what I'm saying? Like they just kind of like just fall in place because like, oh, well, I mean, that's Massa. I mean, he said so. So, this is he got to be right. I mean, he in government. Why would he do what? Why would they not say the truth? Because he has an agenda, asshole. He made a plan. He made a plan for your ass, and you're making it easy for everything, for everybody, for all of them.
Yeah.
They make a facade, and then and then the thing about it is, this very same people who come to them every 4 years. Oh, hey, you know what? Oh, that's what you want? Well, you know what? That's what we're gonna get for you. A year later is, look, man, shut the fuck up. Go sit down. You knew we wasn't doing the shit in the first place. Look, we got some shit to do. So, go in your corner and cry for the next 3 years, and You know, look, we'll come get you when we need you again.
Basically. And then the cycle continues.
Dun dun dun.
So the Ghislaine Maxwell. This is an interesting post I saw on Instagram. Now I don't know how good this is, but it looks good to me.
Uh-huh.
And I
Is
tried
this
to
that's
do
what's up right now?
right. This says case.
Well, shit, I need to blow it up.
Yeah, I can't make it any bigger. The defendants, it's showing the defendants in the trial with Maxine Ghislaine. I don't see her name up here though. That's kind of fucked up. But the 1953 trust, it says Harvey Weinstein. These are, it's saying defendants: Sean Carter, Darren Indiki. Let's see, the Weinstein Corporation, Miramax, Walt Disney Company, Def Jam, Rock Nation, Universal Music Group, Beyonce Knowles, Kanye West. Let's see, Dwayne Carter, Young Money Entertainment, Good Music, Robert Kelly. I'm just saying the names that jump out at me. Sprint, Viacom, CBS, Virgil Abloh,
That's the guy
Qatar
that just
Investment
died.
Company. Okay,
No,
here's her
he's
name
the
down here. She's way down at number 31. Yeah, you talking about the
Who?
Virgil Abloh. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's number 31, defendant. The city of New York. Damn. The city of the police department. New York City Police Department. Wow. Sony
and these are all
Entertainment.
and these are all the people that's supposed to be in question.
Yeah, they're like, as far as what this is saying right here, is saying that they're defendants in this case.
They're all defendants. But no, that's the new case, right? That's not what they're doing right now, like they have in the news. That's a case that's recent, like that's since the investigation that that Trump started. This what you see right here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the case that's going on. Like right now, this is supposed to be something that had taken place with specifically Epstein and Maxwell since 1994 up to 2004. That's directed mainly from these 5 defendants, Jane Doe 1 through 5. So that's a whole different case.
So I also have this video that's going to break down the current Ghislaine Maxwell case. Here, let's play it.
In just hours, opening statements set to begin in Ghislaine Maxwell's highly anticipated trial. Steps from where convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died in an apparent suicide.
I think Epstein's death makes this case the only opportunity really to hold him and Ghislaine Maxwell accountable and to give these survivors some justice.
Maxwell faces sex trafficking charges that could land her in prison for the rest of her life. The prosecutor painting the British...
You can't hear it? You can hear me though, right?
Well, it's making some kind of. Yeah, I hear you clearly. It's the sound of it is kind of like weird. And I know my signal is low, so I don't know if it's just because of my signal or what. But is there any way for you to check the replay on how it's?
No, I don't. Only thing I could do is refresh the page. But if it's on your end, then that's the reason why it's doing it.
Yeah, it's possibly but I'm just letting you know I can't understand what they're saying.
Okay, I'll just talk about it afterward. It's a short video.
Go ahead and play it for the people.
All right.
Yeah.
Socialite turned suspect as a key figure as young as 14 to Epstein's estates for sexual abuse.
In my opinion, she might have been just equally as bad as he was.
Jennifer Araaz told NBC News she was 15 when Epstein raped her, though she won't be one of the 4 women who are expected to testify with allegations mostly from the 1990s.
Will we see Maxwell testify?
I don't know. There's definitely a risk of testifying, but I think they'll make a game day decision based on how they believe the government's case has gone in.
Maxwell insists she's innocent, awaiting her trial from behind bars. She described it as a living hell, telling the Daily Mail, "I am weak, I am frail." Her siblings pleading with the United Nations to help get her out, calling Maxwell's pretrial detention unprecedented discrimination.
She's treated as guilty. She banged up 500 days, and they're hoping, no doubt, the authorities, that they're going to be able to put her away for 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years. Well, let justice decide how that's going to be.
The trial is expected to span 6 weeks, but will likely leave a lot of unanswered questions around her and Epstein's relationships with big names, such as Britain's Prince Andrew and Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
Thanks. So they have this chick that's gonna testify. She's already done. I think she's done like 2 days of testifying. They did ask if they're gonna testify. If old girl, the one that's actually on trial, if she's gonna testify. Oh snap! We lost him. That should be happening when I be pressing shit. Anyways, I'm gonna share screen to this wiki page. Because I was looking at this shit. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. I was looking at this shit earlier. It says device not connected. It says device not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. That's what it's saying. So, fucking, I was looking at this Wikipedia page. It's interesting as hell. She's a British socialite known for association with financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. She worked for her father, Robert Maxwell, until his death in 1991, when she moved to the United States and became a close associate of Epstein. Maxwell founded a nonprofit group for the protection of oceans, the Terra Mar Project, in 2012. The organization announced cessation of operations on 12th of July 2019, a week after the sex trafficking charges brought by the New York federal prosecutors against Epstein became public. In 2020, Maxwell was charged by the U.S. federal government. Yeah, I can hear you. In 2020, Maxwell was charged by the U.S. federal government with the crimes of enticement of minors and sex trafficking in underage girls. The U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Justice announced on July 10th, 2020, that Maxwell was also under investigation in the Caribbean territory. Maxwell is a naturalized U.S. citizen, but also retains citizenship in UK and France. So that's important information too. So that's just her basic Wikipedia right there. But this page is freaking interesting. I was already looking at this earlier, and I got lost on this page alone because there's a lot of stuff here. That tells you what the fuck. It's better than the news. Okay. Here's some stuff. Relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, right? It says accounts differ on Maxwell's first met American financier Jeffrey Epstein. According to Epstein's former business partner, Stephen Hoffenberg, Robert Maxwell introduced his daughter to Epstein in the late 1980s. The Times reported that Maxwell met Epstein in the early 1990s at a New York party following a difficult breakup with Count Gianfranco Sicogna Mozzoni. Maxwell had a romantic relationship with Epstein for several years in the 1990s and remained closely associated with him for decades. The nature of their relationship remains unclear. In 2009 depositions, several of Epstein's household employees testified that Epstein referred to her as his main girlfriend, who also hired, fired, and supervised his staff starting around 1992. She has also been referred to as the lady of the house by Epstein's staff and his aggressive assistant. In 2003, Vanity Fair profile on Epstein author Vicky Ward said Epstein referred to Maxwell as my best friend. Ward also observed that Maxwell seemed to organize much of his life. I'm going to read a little bit more and we'll talk about it. Politico reported that Maxwell and Epstein had friendships with several prominent individuals in elite circles of politics, academia, business, and law, including former President Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, attorney Alan Dershowitz, and Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Maxwell is known for her long-standing friendship with Prince Andrew and for having escorted him to hookers and pimps social function in New York. She introduced Epstein to Prince Andrew, and the three often socialized together. In 2000, Maxwell and Epstein attended a party thrown by Prince Andrew at the Queen's Sandringham House estate in Norfolk, England, reportedly for Maxwell's 39th birthday. In a November 2019 interview with BBC, Prince Andrew confirmed that Maxwell and Epstein had attended an event in his invitation, but he denied that it was anything more than a straightforward shooting weekend. What the hell does that mean? In 1995, Epstein renamed one of his companies Ghislaine Corporation, based in Palm Beach, Florida. The company was dissolved in 1998. As a trained helicopter pilot, that's interesting, Maxwell also transported Epstein to his private Caribbean island. In 2008, Epstein was convicted of soliciting a minor of prostitution and served 13 months of an 18-month jail sentence. Following Epstein's release, although Maxwell continued to attend prominent social functions, she and Epstein were no longer seen together publicly. By late 2015, Maxwell had largely retreated from attending social functions. Okay, what you think about all that?
Well, that alone, because all the information there is stuff that I've already kind of been, for the last couple of years, I guess I've known about all this stuff. And for me, I believe it. Like look, I'm gonna tell you, look, for you when you have time, any of our viewers, anybody who might catch this on the replay, when you have time, go to your YouTube and look up. There's like a docu-series of a lot of these different events that are. It's that doc has been down the rabbit hole, and you're gonna have to ask yourself, like, how many of these events have to happen before you stop calling it a coincidence that all of these people have these connections.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this. The reason why I'm covering this is because this is way bigger than her or Epstein, and it's basically the whole damn entertainment industry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
that's what's funding it. I mean, everybody else is funding it because like for Epstein to be as rich as he is, just being able to say, was it even truly Epstein's island? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. That's a good question because I went down the Epstein rabbit hole, and one of the things that the people that do a lot of digging on him, you can't figure out where he got his money from. It's really difficult. They can't seem to pinpoint where his money came from. Like, how did he purchase this stuff? Where did he get the income for this stuff? Like, there's no records for this shit. So that's a very good question. Did he even own those islands? Did he even own, like, he could have been just an employee like a motherfucker. You know, and they're okay with putting that shit in your name or whatever. They don't give a damn. The money is so big. It's so huge.
Well, you got to think about this because, you know, they use human trafficking for so many things, right? Like, you know, of course, they have the sex trade. They have the slave trade. They have the organ trade. So there's many different things that's going on within this same organization. And Epstein just so happened to be the one that happened to be a part of the sex trade, which, you know, once they're done with, you know, the girls or boys or guys or whatever that they may have caught and been at Epstein's, you know, they may not kill them right away. They might sell them off to someone else to, you know, take them up to a different part of the world, to another ever.
And another dimension to this that I think has to be mentioned is that you have to add in the drugs and gun trade, because like we were saying before, when you talk about slaves and you got ships, when you drop off something, you always picking up something. You picking up something and you dropping off something. And that's how it always goes. People, money, guns, and drugs. And you know, those are the commodities. Damn, we lost them again. I wanted to read some more of this. These are civil cases and accusations. Virginia Giuffre versus Maxwell. That's 2015. Details of civil lawsuit made public in January 2015 contained a deposition from Jane Doe 3 that accused Maxwell of recruiting her in 1999 when she was a minor and grooming her to provide sexual services for Epstein. In 2018, expose by Julia K. Brown in the Miami Herald revealed that Jane Doe 3 to be Virginia Giuffre, who was previously known as Virginia Roberts. Giuffre met Maxwell at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, when Giuffre was a 16-year-old spa attendant. You there? Where did I stop? Which she was groomed to pleasure. What the hell? Where did I stop? Introduced her to Epstein, which was groomed by Maxwell, repeatedly denied involvement in Epstein crimes. 2015, Maxwell rejected allegations that she acted as a procurer for Epstein and denied that she had facilitated Prince Andrew's alleged acts of sexual abuse. Her spokesman said the allegations made against Ghislaine Maxwell are untrue, and she strongly denies allegations of an unsavory nature, which have appeared in the British press and elsewhere, and reserves her right to seek redress at the repetition of such old defamatory claims. Giuffre asserted that Maxwell and Epstein had trafficked her and other underage girls, often at sex parties hosted by Epstein at his homes in New York, New Mexico, Palm Beach, and the United States Virgin Islands. Maxwell called her a liar. Giuffre sued Maxwell for defamation in federal court in the Southern District of New York in 2015. While details of the settlement have not been made public, in May 2017, the case was settled in Giuffre's favor, with Maxwell paying Giuffre millions. So are you there, Pat?
Yeah, man, I'm here. I turned my video off because I think that may be interfering with I think the audio will probably be a little better without the.
You
know, with the
definitely sound
connection.
better. The
Okay.
connection definitely, yeah, it sounds better.
All right, so we'll roll like this. Did I give you guys the title of that docuseries that I was telling y'all about?
What was that title?
Fall of the Cabal. It's the Fall of the Cabal. And bro, if you watch this series, because it's somewhat, it may still be ongoing, but it shows a lot of the evidence that people have been picking up over the years, the connections, these people that they let go free, these pedophiles or people who has actually gotten caught, and as long as they keep their mouth closed, they allow them to continue. But they have heavy connections with these very people that they're listing. Um, you know, the top of the top. I mean, we can't, because I mean I think it's mostly on the liberal side, but there are some conservative names as well. So I mean,
I think
it's
this is
just
all the way
a
across
group
the
of
board.
people.
And like I say, I think
Yeah.
it's the whole American, like pretty much point of view. Because at the beginning, I was talking about how we have, these child beauty pageants here in America, and other countries they would be appalled at that. You know what I mean? But that's totally acceptable here. So it's like what I'm trying to say is that the entertainment industry is all tied up in this. You know what I mean? This child
Oh
sex
yeah.
trafficking thing. So
But their
yeah,
pawns, is those are the people that's in the entertainment industry. They're just pawns, and they're people who were, they use them to be able to do what they do and to kind of keep it, you know, like they they get them involved pretty much to use them as in the way that they want, because like right now they can get them on TV and make them say, you know, go do, get the people, like, oh well, you know, such and such says that I should go and get the jab, like, to be able to have the control over them. So, but it's the politicians, the people, or with the real power. And I mean, if anybody has enough sense to see what side of the political, political party has the most power, their hands is in it more than others. But like I said, I mean, all parties is, about, this thing that's been going on within this global, because I mean, we're mostly talking about people that's in America, because I guess those are the ones that we know the best. But this is a worldwide thing. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, the prince that would be up to be king, it was very much involved in this. Like, this is was Andrew. He was meant to be the king. If anything happens to Queen Elizabeth, he's supposed to be the next one in line. You know what I'm saying? But he's involved, as far as, what proof is showing, like he has connections. Let's say that allegedly he's knee deep in all of this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So well, a couple comments about what you said. One, I wanted to say about the handlers, because you were saying like they're pawns, because you notice how they be talking about handlers, like who's your handler or whatever. Like that's like a thing in the entertainment industry. So it's like everyone has a handler. Like, damn, that sounds like a fucking pimp. Anyways, the other thing was, when we got cut off earlier, I wanted to put on the part, because we're talking about human trafficking, we're talking about sex trafficking, right? And
Yeah.
basically moving goods. And I wanted to make sure that people made the connection between guns, cash, and drugs,
Yes.
because all of this is going to be, if you're moving human traffic, if you're child trafficking, you know what I'm saying? Like we was talking about slavery and how the ships are always drop something off and pick something up. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how it always goes. That's just how business works. So, maybe you drop off some kids and you pick up some guns. You know what I'm saying? You you drop off some guns and you pick up some more kids or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? Drop off the kids and pick up some dope or cash. And what I'm trying to say is that what people have to understand is that this is all connected. You know what I mean? If there's an infrastructure for this stuff.
And like, Epstein's not the only one that's got his own private islands. You know, our current president has his own island. That you know, when you own an island, you make the laws and the rules, and you know, you're free to allow whatever. Like you have your own constitution on your island. You know what I'm saying? Anything that happens there is, you know, may not be against the law on that island. So that's why people are able to go and visit these places and not, you know, be, you know, held accountable, so to say. But in a time like this where, because I mean, I really believe that they know that this woman Maxwell will not say a word. Like she's gonna go down like a kingpin. She's like she's like the ringleader. Like she is, you know, used the.
She was probably above Epstein.
It's a great possibility that she was the actual ringleader, and you know, because of his power, maybe some of his connections or whatever it was, like they probably didn't even need him, but because
Right.
he was such a sociable guy, and you know, the
It
way
just
that
works better because we live in a patriarchal ass society. So if you put like a white man, there was a story about a black dude who had owned a business, and he made it look like it was this white man who owned it whenever people came or whenever business meetings and shit, and it made him more profitable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a real thing. So if the Epstein was like the face, you know what I'm saying? Perfect little face of the you know, the brand.
look, the lady I was watching, you know, just to your point right there, the lady that she was on Drink Champ. She's a designer. I forget her name, but she made a lot of men's clothing that was popular in, you know, through the 2000s. I know, you know, like from late 90s, Rockaware. I mean, I think, you know, what was it? She did a lot of different design of clothes that we were wearing during those times, and you know, she's a female, so she couldn't really, you know, like be the front person. She said they never really had a a true spokesperson, but at the same time, I mean, in order for, you know, that to be big, she had to allow other people to be in the limelight with her stuff. She, you know, she didn't even think that she, you know, she was afraid that she wouldn't be accepted as, you know, a male designer for men's clothing because she's female. So
Right.
I mean, so that's like the mindset that people who are in business, you know, for them to progress or to, you know, to actually be able to grow, they will take the back seat. They will, you know, they'll do what needs to be done, but then they'll take a back seat to everything else just to be able to see it grow. And I think that's kind of because if what you read in the wiki text is true about her father introduced her to Epstein, you know, maybe it was a family business that got handed down.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it really sounds like. Because he was definitely plugged in, or she was definitely plugged in, because they said she worked for her father till he died or whatever. Like, what worked for him in what way? And then it's like, and also how it's like, how old was she when she met Epstein? That's another thing that's blurry. So like, did her father give
That's my
him?
answer too.
Did her father give her to him like in a way, like, you know what I mean?
Um, the father probably liked him, knew that he had some quirky ways and some weird ways, and You know, Epstein might have been somewhat of a mentee of the guy. You know, like you just never know that maybe he just met him and liked him. It's like, hey, yeah, this is what I've been doing, and
Yeah, who
whatever.
knows how it happened, but somehow he was plugged in. He had to be plugged in, maybe through
Had
his
to.
parents or something. Because what people don't understand is, like, you got the crime world, but them niggas is at the parties with the politicians and the kings and queens. You know what I mean?
Well,
So they have a hierarchy, like a genealogy or whatever you want to call it, like where their kids inherit what they've been doing, inherit their empire. And
yeah.
they're, like I say, the kids are there at the fucking party too, with the kings, queens, and politicians, all the big bosses.
Look, and I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion. I don't have any true connection, but like a lot of what I've kind of over the years, like I said, I've been following this for some time now. Now, I really believe, because I mean the whole party life for these uber rich people gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing that is off limits for them. Anything that they think they want, they can have it. They'll get it. And my thing is that there's some things that's been surfacing. Because I mean, just think about one of the people I just mentioned. I mean, our current president, son, is a part of an underworld. He's, what I'm saying, like he's, pulling through certain things for his dad, but you know, like he's heavily on drugs. He's definitely in a drug market. Whether, I mean, he may not be like a drug dealer, but he is dealing with drugs with on a high level for most likely these parties and things. So, and but the main thing that I want to, like what I'm feeling throughout this, like I said, there's no facts involved. This is my opinion, so don't people don't get y'all panties in a wad. But I really do believe that's one of the reasons that Biden wanted to force his way into this presidency, is to be able to deter any of the allegations that's been up against him and his friends, because Trump was trying to expose a lot of this stuff. They say that he's a part of it. I mean, maybe he is. I mean, they haven't really, given any true connections on it. I mean, I could care less either way, because I mean, I really want this thing to be solved. But however, a lot of these people at the very top have been doing this stuff for so long to where they just thought they were untouchable. But then they have these girls that's finally gotten enough nerve to come out and say something.
Yeah, I
Because
think that he was a scapegoat too. So that it's bigger than
because
Trump, son,
they don't want it to
or
be. Yeah,
Biden.
well, it's bigger
It's
than all of them. I really do believe it. I mean, it's because it's a system. This is just like a whole nother outside government. Like, they call it the deep state. Like, it's like these you know these weird things you can find in the crooks and nannies of the internet leads up to this. A lot of the
the
weirdest type
porn.
the
Because
weirdest type of porn that you might be able to
people
find.
pretend that the porn industry isn't like the biggest fucking Goliath of a
The
fucking thing.
the one that, I mean, because it's the biggest with the stuff that they can actually show on DVDs or on internet or whatever. It is the biggest industry. And you have to think about this. Who runs who's at the top of most film industry, period?
So that, but like who it it's always like you. what I'm trying to say is this is not political. So once you start I mean, it is in a certain
It's
way,
very
but
much. It's very much political.
it,
But
it's political when you
not
look
to,
at it like
not on the
theologically.
government,
But
not on the government level.
it's
Political, but
okay.
it's
Yeah.
very
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
Not
agree with you
not
then.
yeah. Not on the
Yeah.
government level of political, but this is, you know, it's just a system in place, and there's a lot of different players that I mean I mean they're all on one side, and you know if one
Money.
if one throws another into the pot to get cooked, you might as well have, you know, you might as well
I
connect
think that's
yourself.
what happened. I think that's what happened with Epstein. I really do. I think that's what happened with him because this thing is huge. Like he's just one of, like I say, a face, pimp. You know, he was just a pimp that he worked whatever market, one, department. You know what I'm saying? He was a worker bee
Yeah,
in one of
you
the
know, I tried
departments.
to.
But he obviously was too whatever. He was doing something that they didn't like, you know what I mean? He was getting out of line in ways, he must have been. This is my speculation too, but this just from the information of what I understand how these fucking people are. I feel like he must have been doing something that they didn't like. Maybe being too visible, maybe being, whatever it was, doing something that they didn't like, right? And so he's steadily doing shit that they don't like, and then that's how he keep catching cases because they send the cases his way, and he fighting them off or whatever. And then he want to use his blackmail, like he wants to threaten blackmail on these motherfuckers. And these are big, huge, powerful motherfuckers. So like, okay, you're gonna blackmail me. So and then they get together in a group and they're like, we don't know which one of us he gonna fucking fuck with. So let's all work together and take care of this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened to his ass because they choked him out. That was a statement. Him getting choked out and it being called a suicide, it makes it the perfect, and being in prison. All of that makes it the perfect hit. And it sends a signal to everybody. Don't try to talk, because he was acting like he was going to talk if that shit went to trial. So they was like, there can't be no trial. There cannot be no trial, and you ain't talking to nobody ever again. Choked his ass out. You heard what I was saying, though?
Well, it was breaking up for me most of the part. I was trying to let you know that I couldn't really understand what you're saying, but it's, my phone. I'm in Kentucky, bro. That's
Damn.
like, yeah, this is like
the middle of nowhere.
The worst states to be in. Yeah.
It literally in the middle. I can't even imagine. I can't think of where Kentucky
Well,
is.
I mean, it's
what are the states next to Kentucky?
It's beautiful country. Oh shit, a bunch. I mean,
I know all of that was supposed to be Native American
Illinois,
land, all of that area.
Oh yeah, I mean,
even
all of it was.
Even with the treaties that they made a treaty for them, and all of that was supposed to be them, and they kept on fucking going back on the treaties. But anyways, I don't want to get off track. Ghislaine Maxwell. What was I saying? Oh, Epstein being a freaking scapegoat or whatever. Like, the Me Too movement is happening, all this stuff. So it's like, okay, this nigga right here he acts an ass anyway. So we're gonna let him catch this case. We're gonna let him catch this case, and then this nigga gonna act like he want to snitch or whatever. So then they like, okay, well, if you act like you want to snitch, then we gonna fucking kill your ass. Like, you're not fucking snitching. Like,
well,
ain't nothing finna come out.
I'm gonna tell you, the Me Too movement is the soft side of this whole human trafficking thing, because it's a part of this human trafficking, the whole, Epstein, thing that's going on is what pushed into what people felt they could do at home or in their office. And they had perversions that
Right.
they were, that they had may have had beforehand, but because of those perversions, they can, like they would try to exercise some of these things in their office and figure they should be able to get away with it. And they did for, I'm sure, a long time, some of them. And but it's, because of these type of parties and things that they're able to go to
Exactly.
and
That's
do
the
these
point.
things.
Exactly, because it's the sex trafficking that's related to that, because they feel comfortable because it's their employee. They pay them. So it's the same thing with the slaves and the stuff like that, because whenever they go to the parties, they pay. You know what I'm saying? They pay. That's how it works. They're paying, for a service. So, that's how it works. So it's like they're an employee. So they're just doing their job. Their job is to please me in any kind of way,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And that's slavery.
I pray for that. I pray for this girl to just all of a sudden get a heart, because I think she's probably more stone cold than Epstein. Epstein had to kill himself because he didn't want to have to face the
She's solid.
he didn't want to have to face the music. He knew what he was
Yeah,
doing.
I don't think he killed himself. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he killed himself. He was killed. That dude was hit. That was a mob style hit. That was a straight up hit. There's no doubt about it.
I'm gonna tell you, it is very possible, but honestly I feel like he did kill himself. But the problem is, where the liability on others come in is the fact that they allowed him to, like they had him on suicide watch. They took him off, they like when he come in, like they took him off of suicide watch. That's where the liability of the rest of this case goes into.
That's how it was a hit. This by a big boss, a super big boss hit this was a major fucking big deal type shit. The bosses called this.
I said the same thing in the beginning. Like, if I had any recorded messages when this thing first happened, I was like, oh damn, they got him. You know what I'm saying? But I've kind of, like I said, going through it. It could have gone either way. I don't know, but I
that's
feel
why
like
they do hits like that, because just that doubt, that little bit of doubt is enough. That's what they need. It's perfect. That's what makes the hit so perfect. It's perfect. But look, think about it from Epstein's point of view. This nigga got a black box. He got the best lawyers. Nigga, I'm finna beat this fucking case. I'm finna beat this bitch to the ground. That's what I'm thinking. I'm finna beat the shit out of this case. I'm snitching on everybody, and I'm gonna just do me 8 months, and they gonna let me go.
No, but that's why I feel like he got to a point in his head that he, like he had some sympathy. He had gotten to a point to where it was just like he was ready for shit to be over. You know what I'm saying? Because if he really felt like he could just 100% get away with this, or if he didn't have in his mind that, like, he just didn't want to be a part of it anymore.
Nah, that don't fit his like,
because you
know
got
what we know of his personality.
If he's actually doing this,
maybe he had a change of heart at the end of his life.
I know this guy,
but I'm going by what we know about him.
But he
beat cases. He beat cases all the time. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, he's beaten cases. Yeah, he's beaten cases before. Because I just want to say, like, I'm definitely speculating, but for it to come to this point, if somebody's been pushing you to do this, like if it's like what we were just talking about, some possibilities where he got into it for the glitz and the glamour, you know, all of the, you know, the endless amounts of money that they had. But he's harming young kids and, you know, doing this and the other. He could have easily gotten hard. And it's like, you know what? Like, they don't kill me anyway. Just get this shit over with. If I had to go, like, he might be the one that would actually break. This girl, she seems like she was built for this shit. And in a lot of cases, the female is, you know, when you live in this lifestyle, yeah, some will break. But for a character like this one, this thing, no, bro, she's a gangster.
Yeah, that's why I say she's
a
not
bigger
snitching.
gangster.
And plus, they whatever. She got a handler. Like, she's not snitching, so she'll go down for the team. She one of them. She'll go down for the team. You know, she not gonna snitch. And the system is gonna be on her side because that's just the system. Like you said, you know, it's bigger than it's way too big. So, you know, she probably get some time for this. But again, like I say, I think you know, everybody's gonna forget about it. It's gonna be over. They're gonna be like, oh, well, we got her, so that's it. It's over. Like, this shit ain't still completely in full force happening right now. Like, literally the exact stuff still happening right now.
I apologize, everyone.
You sound clear
blame
right
it
now.
on the state of Kentucky.
And their satellite directions.
Yeah. Or lack thereof.
Like, old girl is a flight risk. They wouldn't let her go. Let me see if I can find that shit. Dispute over release of court documents. Because I thought that was real interesting. Let me see. Court live stream controversy attempts to locate Maxwell. Let me see. Yeah, on December 27th, 2019, Reuters reported that Maxwell was among those under FBI investigation for facilitating Epstein. After his arrest, Maxwell was in hiding, communicating with courts only through her lawyers who, as of January 30th, 2020, had refused to accept on her behalf service of 3 lawsuits against her. The New York Times reported that by 2016, Maxwell had no longer been photographed at events. By 2017, her lawyer claimed before a judge that they did not know her address. They further stated that she was in London, but they did not believe she had a permanent residence. Maxwell has a history of being unreachable during legal proceedings. During the lawsuit filed in 2017 from Ransom against Maxwell, District Judge John G. Courtel granted a motion for alternative service on the grounds that the plaintiff's efforts to reach Maxwell were persistently thwarted. These included hiring a private investigation firm that attempted to service at 3 physical addresses, sending information to several email addresses, and reaching out to lawyers actively representing Maxwell in other lawsuits who refused to become a general agent of process to relay the information to her. According to court documents from a lawsuit filed by Epstein against Bradley Edwards, a representative for several of his accusers, in 2010, Maxwell had agreed to provide a deposition in the case, but reportedly left the county one day before Edwards was scheduled to fly to New York to take her deposition, claiming she needed to return to the United Kingdom, be with her deathly ill mother, with no intention of returning to the United States. However, Maxwell returned within a month to attend Chelsea Clinton's wedding. In January 2020, it was reported that Maxwell had refused to allow her lawyers to be served with several lawsuits in which she has been directly named in 2019 and 2020, including one by Farmer and from Arroez, While Maxwell's lawyers continue to argue on her behalf against the release of additional court documents from Guthrie versus Maxwell lawsuit, they claim to not know where she is or to have permission to accept the recent lawsuit filed against her. Authorities in the United States Virgin Islands were unsuccessful in locating Maxwell during the 3.5 months they were seeking to serve her with a subpoena. Prosecutors considered Maxwell to be a critical fact witness in their lawsuit against Epstein's estate. A court filing from the USVI, Department of Justice, released on July 10, 2020, stated that Maxwell was also under investigation for her alleged participation in Epstein's sex trafficking operation in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yeah, so that was a lot. What you think about all that? It's like how slippery she is.
Go back. Whose wedding? What did she make it over here for? Like, who did
that? Chelsea
was
Clinton.
From everything.
So that means you're like close friends. To
risk
going to jail. You don't want to miss that wedding. They're close.
Say, bro, like when I have conversations with one of my friends, that he's just like, oh my God, he's so enamored by the whole Democratic Party, but definitely the Clintons. Like, he loves the Clintons for whatever reason. But then when I start pointing out different little things, it's just like, dude, like, why are they friends? Like, what makes them so? You know what I'm saying? Like, for somebody to be, all right, if somebody, you don't want to just assume that because I have a friend that's a bank robber, that I'm a bank robber. But when somebody has such close ties, and you've been named in a lot of these things already, like, okay, it's been, we talked about fact checkers earlier, about how who pays these people, who owns these fact checkers. We have to take that into play with not just this incident, with any incident. Like, it's not, we have to look at it the same way when no matter what subject we're looking at. So if there's fact checkers that's saying that, oh, all this stuff is debunked, okay, who paid you to debunk it? That there's any kind of connections with the Clintons or the Obamas or the all these high level people that obviously are some movers and shakers across the world. You know what I'm saying? He's just, and then like I said, the whole fall of cabal makes you question, like, at what point can we drop this whole thing about it's just a coincidence? You know what I'm saying? One time, okay, it's a coincidence. Twice, it's a coincidence. 3, 4, 5, 8, 12 times. Can we keep naming these things coincidences?
I don't think so. What's up, bro?
What's up, fam?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Good to see both of you guys. Well, I can't really see Pat.
What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
I'm in Kentucky, so I have to limit my usage to be able to at least talk, because every 10 minutes it's been knocking me off.
Understood.
Yeah.
What you
been up to, man?
Just been chilling with the fam, like using as much time as I can to be with the family with the holidays and stuff. Been working, doing music.
This nigga look like Picasso.
Thank you. But I've been really trying to get on this podcast, bro, because there's a couple things I want to say. because the first time when I was on these podcasts before, I was saying how, like how I'm past religion and all that, and I just wanted to clear that up. That I do believe in God, and God actually has helped me a lot. And during those times where I was like, don't worship God and all that on your podcast, I got sat down. I got humbled. And then, it's funny how positivity and like praying and it actually works. So put God first, everybody out there, and try to listen if there is communication. All right, now that I got that out of the way, bro. I've been trying to get on the What do you think about all these asteroids? Have you ever heard about any of those?
I haven't really heard anything. We've been getting hit by an abnormal amount or something.
I don't want to
No,
fear monger.
I think we have some that's scheduled to come our way.
I don't want to fear monger at all, but NASA launched this mission to deflect an asteroid. It's a test mission or whatever. So they say. But really, I really dug into it, and it's like there is like 3 asteroids that could hit us in the next 100 years, and one in the next 7, and then 20. I don't know. It's like 2035 or something, and then 2065, and then like 100 years from now. But shit, bro, that's scary shit. I feel like your podcast would.
I did hear about them testing the technology to deflect an asteroid. I did hear about that.
I just think they've been trying to tell us something. So these asteroids have been 30 years ago they found these motherfuckers.
That whole thing is scary anyways, because if it's like a comet, they have like these elliptical ass wide ass fucking orbits that we might not even be able to see them until they're like really close anyway. So like, and then those types of comets, they move so fast anyways. Like I say, I don't know that we would have any technology to handle that. We can't handle a comet, and like I said, we won't even be able to see it. Maybe we may not even be able to see it. The asteroids move much slower. They're in our solar system. These comets, they go outside of. They have really huge orbits, so they'll leave out of our solar system for however long, and then come back around, and then they're coming so fast. By the time we notice them, it'd be nothing we could do about it.
Yeah, I don't know, but the asteroids, bro, that's what killed the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Like, we're fucking due.
But
they're
not sure about that.
Asteroid, if it comes from the direction of the sun, isn't detectable in time because it's just hard to see with the sun.
Right.
If that happens, then there really is no shot.
If it's really big, it ain't nothing you can do either, because you could bust it up and then you're gonna have pieces of it hit you. Like it's like, my point about this is that like there's no point in worrying about this. If there's an asteroid or a comet or something that's gonna come and wipe us the fuck out.
Here's my worry, bro. They send this fucking rocket, right? And it's splitting the fucking air, and it's like burning it. It's gonna create almost like NASCAR, like how they stay behind each other. There's a direct pathway to Earth, you know what I mean? So if you suck in, they're only hitting the moon of one. There's this giant asteroid they're not even fucking with. They're aiming at that, like the moon of it. It's like a little asteroid circling it that orbits it. One, it's like, okay, so then, yeah, you might hit that moon, but behind, like you're leaving behind, I don't know how to explain it, but in space, there's nothing. It's a void. It's a vacuum. So when you send that and you cut through that vacuum, you channel like a pathway or whatever. So they might be fucking destroying the earth. And I don't want to fearmonger now, but like that could be the book of Revelations. Like if an asteroid hits, wipes out a third of the planet, the skies go black or whatever, no electricity, that could start everything. The doomsday clock right now is set to 100 seconds to midnight. What the fuck? That's supposed to be for the pandemic, but honestly, the pandemic, another thing I wanted to get to was how global warming was affected with that. Like, are they trying to get us to stay home to help the greenhouse gases and all that shit? Because our ozone is literally getting ripped. So they're like, shit, everybody stop driving. Stay home. Deploy the pandemic.
Us not driving is not gonna those, you know, I was very interested in how nature reacted to COVID and how I would love to see somebody do a documentary on that, because I've seen some footage. So if somebody can put together the footage, but you know, when everybody went inside and how nature was all like recovering, the air cleared up and everything. But I would say us staying home is not going to improve the environment, because the airplanes, the trucks, the factories, you know, them making our cheap shit is really what is the pollution. Us buying, as long as we keep ordering shit off of Amazon and buying shit from Walmart, it don't matter if we leave our house or not. You know what I mean? We keep making cheap shit, like it's totally trash, and we keep consuming that shit, and that's what's destroying the fucking environment, really. And as far as the asteroid or comet, like it'd be nothing we could do about it. And as far as revelation, you know what I think the revelation is the people finally becoming aware of things. You know what I mean? The truth finally being revealed. And of course they're gonna be all dramatic and like the sky is turning to dark and oh, it's fire and brimstone. It's like all of my beliefs that cognitive dissonance is hitting you. You are aware of things that you thought you knew to be true, but now you realize that it's all been a lie, you know. And what you said earlier about believing in God, I'm all the way with you with that. You know, positive energy. I believe in God, a higher power, a creator, you know what I mean? The universe, whatever you want to call it, you know. And I think our prayer is only supposed to be thanks. That's it. Just give thanks. God has given you everything that you need. So you're supposed to just give thanks as often as possible. You're not supposed to ask for shit. It's already giving you everything.
I think you should write down like a wish list or a bucket list, or like what you want, because that way God knows and it can work with you more.
Well, you do your intentions, but that's about you. That's about you making that happen. You know what I'm saying? When you write shut down, that's about you making a promise to yourself that you're gonna put work into making this thing happen, making it real. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. You know what I mean? I mean, it is related to God, but God works through you as a creator. So you have to create this world that you want to live in. You know what I mean? That's why people say, you know, write it down, because that's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? That's metaphysics. That's you going, that's placing your intention, you know, and making it a physical thing. So bringing your mental into the physical.
Yeah.
And that's
Check out how you been, bro.
Shit, same old, bro. Shit, same old, bro. I don't know, man. I should be further along in my life than I am right now, but
yeah, we all should. But you're on your way. What happened to Pat?
He's been having trouble with his connection. He's in the middle of Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
Doc says you manifest your desires to the universe by the power of your thought, your words, and your actions. I 100% agree with that.
That's the
So
law of attraction.
we was talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial and Epstein and all of that. What do you think about that? Like they got old girl on trial right now, and it's a chick in there who's testifying that she was groomed by Ghislaine Maxwell to
I say all power corrupts, man. Think about it. Too powerful. You got too much power. You used it to have sex with kids. What the fuck?
basically do whatever you want.
Corrupted.
Literally.
Corrupted is corrupt. Shit. All corrupts differently. His was little kids. That's fucking weird.
And so then they say money is power.
Yeah, he had the power, he had the pull, he had the isolation, he had the friend group, he had the network. But he didn't have God, man. And God sat him down. And now he'll never have a legacy. All that for nothing. It'll be a disgrace.
I agree with you. I love that philosophy. But I think that a lot of people don't live for legacy. They just live for now. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And some of those people, even the ones like Epstein, don't even care. Like, they're like, I'm not going to live that long anyways. Like, they even when he died, maybe he looked back and was like, man, I lived a good life. I did what I want to do.
Yeah, that's his perspective. I mean, I'm sure he knew what he was getting into. I'm sure he knew the outcome if he did get caught. Maybe he was just a depressed soul, and he thought every second I don't fuck this little child that I just won't feel happiness ever again. And I don't try to make that okay. That's fucked up, man. But he's got to live with himself. And the universe filters out that shit, man, because the universe isn't supposed to be bad. I don't believe it's bad by nature. I believe that it can be brutal.
I think one aspect with this sex trafficking thing, how we focus on the underage part is kind of like, I think that is a part of how we are brainwashed as far as the human trafficking, the sex trafficking. It's young people and it's adults and maybe it's older people. Like it's everyone. It's humans. So, we need to stop putting all these different categories on things, because that's how we end up like, one side is more important than the other. So it's okay for them to sex traffic an adult, Is that what you're saying? When we focus on the part of it being that they were, younger, I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm it's horrible, but it's also horrible for the adult too that's being sex trafficked. That's all I'm saying. So we have to look at it like the humans, so that we can stop, because we always do this like, oh, they're not even American, or they're Mexican, or maybe they're black, or they're white, or whatever reason, the gender, there's a girl, it's a boy, whatever the reason, to not like value their human life as much, like lower their human value.
Yeah. That every time they do that, it does weaken the whole. It weakens everything. Every time they split us into a different section, it weakens it. It's like a human life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. But, one of the thoughts I had was Epstein. The more I think about it, because like I said, I've been trying to follow him for a while, and maybe I'm just coming up with some crazy theories, but Epstein, I think, might have been somewhat of a Squid Game.
Mm. A Squid Game,
but he got the money first. But he got the money first.
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you on this. I can hear you on this. Because we was talking about earlier about the lineages, because you know it's always like about the lineages, and they like to follow the lineage of the mother. So it's about who your mother was. And so like someone like Epstein, he wasn't like from the lineage, like, you know. So
They
that's what
pulled
I
him
was saying.
in. They pulled him in. He was probably a poor, you know, potentially had some, like family that they kind of knew him from. He might have had some connections, but nothing like a, because I mean, when you think about this girl, Ghislaine, she's from Europe. She's a UK girl.
Yeah, she's
So
got a lineage.
somehow, she's connected somehow. Nobody's saying exactly how, but I mean, somebody, you don't just, get these big connections from nowhere. Like nobody, these people with names don't just trust people to have hold that kind of information about them just out of the blue.
They have to be vouched for by somebody that they respect. And it's like that. People just need to think
Yes.
about it, because like if you're gonna go to a party, somebody invite you to a party, and it's like a random person in a random party, the likelihood of you going to that party is probably low. But if somebody invite you to a party and you know the people that's gonna be there, the people that's putting it together, or whoever, you know that group, then that's the respect, or the vouched for, or whatever that I'm trying to
Yeah.
explain.
I mean, well, to me, it's kind of like a +1. You know what I'm saying? Somebody invited this one person to, to a party. And it's like, well, I'm gonna bring my friend, whatever. Well, that's your friend, hey, they good. If I'm good with you, if they good with you too, hey, we're all good. So it's kind of like, him being a +1 at some point to bring him in. He, like I said, it could be deeper than what we've been saying there, because like I said, her parents and his parents could have known each other. Maybe they owed him a favor, or like, look, you got to do
That's
this,
what it
or so
looks
you can
like.
enjoy,
It
you
looks
can
like that
enjoy this
mafia.
great life.
It looks like
Yeah,
that
you can
mafia
enjoy this
shit.
great life. That's yes, you can enjoy this great life, or we can get rid of your ass right now because you already know too much.
Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like that mafia shit. Like he was a son of a mob boss type, and literally the king or whatever gave his daughter to this dude.
But
Like that's what the
who is
story sounds like.
but if you think about it, like, who the biggest fucking mobs? Like, I mean, they present themselves today as
The
some of,
politicians.
well, no, not just no. Well, yeah, but look at this. He's got a Stein. He's a Stein. Epstein.
Oh yeah,
Who, you know what I'm saying? What roots are those?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are
So
some of the
yeah,
most powerful people on the planet.
yeah, yep, yep. And
And
they like to
especially
make their money
especially
in
when it
any
comes to
kind
the
of way.
sex work.
Yes,
Yeah,
any kind of way. They totally okay with making money illegally. Like they don't have a problem with that. That doesn't
look,
go
it
against them.
it went, you know what I'm saying? Because like before they put it on camera, this was these perversions was just happening in real life. You know what I'm saying? So they may have, been, they've got to a point where it's like, oh, we can put this on film and market it to the public. But at the same time, I mean, before we see it on any video or whatever, it's actually happening in real life. They paid these people to do these certain types, and like, and then like I said, on the dark web, like, I've never been there, but I've heard of the type of stuff that they have on there, like all of the killer porn and all this, like some of the, like the most extreme shit that you can even think of is happening.
I think you're touching on the heart of this whole thing, and and I have to be careful what I say, but Hitler was was not feeling that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's the thing, because I mean, he wasn't against the real Jews. He was against the ones that were pretending to be Jews, or that were, you know what I'm saying? That's and he said that in some one of the interviews that he did, or that where he was just nonchalantly talking with somebody and they caught it on record, because he knew who the real Jews were.
So
And
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that's really touching on, like, because we talking about the entertainment industry as a whole, including movies, music, the child beauty pageants, the dance.
and they the ones have the most control over all of that. Everything that you just mentioned, whether it's movies, especially here in America, but I'm sure it extends further than just America. But movies, music, like pretty much any form of entertainment, they've got a big hand in. And like I said, it's not just what we, what I'm saying, consume on TV or radio or
Because we
CD,
mentioned earlier how
live
big
show.
even the legal porn industry is a juggernaut.
It's the largest. Like I mean, that's one from what I understand. Like that's like it's the largest.
And you don't see this on TV or on Netflix or anywhere, and people don't talk about it. But obviously, a lot of people are watching it.
Oh yeah.
It's a huge industry. So, you know that's money, big money, and it's the sex trafficking is related to that. I mean, that's the easiest way to make some porn. If I was doing it, like you
But
already paying this chick.
but the thing that I think a lot of people miss is like, okay, because like I said, I've had these arguments before. Like, who can afford, like, the bigger the crime, the bigger the shame, the bigger everything else is, the more money that these people have to pay in order to be able to keep this thing hidden. And especially if you're a big name. So like, who better to involve in these things? It's the uber rich people. It's these powerful people that can even afford to do most of these things that we're even talking about. Porn, like this shit, that's like nothing compared to some of the things that I'm like that's really going on in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, for somebody to actually want to put some woman down in a dungeon, tie them up, like they have all these different with BDSM stuff that they like. It's
And the
this
part where you
shit.
were saying before is important because this stuff was happening already, or has happened, or do happen before they ever would come and video it. You know,
I'm sure this stuff has been happening for centuries. And we just happen to be living through a time, like, I mean, people like during it, because I mean, we're no different than the people that was living in the 1500s or 1600s. It's just we feel that
wait,
we're
hold
in
on,
a bigger place.
Doc. I don't know why it said entry denied. I tried to add you to the stream. Here, I'm gonna invite again. Because sometimes the link goes bad. Let me update the link and try this one.
Yeah, tell them to back all the way out and then try again.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that. Go ahead, Pat.
Because just think about, I mean, yeah, it may not have been DVDs or internet and all this other kind of stuff 100, 200, 300 years ago, but what it was where they had these theaters, these private theaters where people could go and watch it live. There you know, these peep shows where, like, you know, you put in a quarter. You remember, like, I know I've seen old commercials and stuff where, like, you put in a quarter and the thing raises up, you can see the leg or whatever, and you just have to keep dropping quarters in order to be able to see as much as you can see. And like, but if you really think about it, like, none of this stuff is new. Like, I mean, even like as far as like some of the old, you know, kings and queens, for just like the entertainment, they have the jester come out and entertain for them live. The same shit where they had live sex shows for them to just watch other people, you know, do shit. So I don't think this is like a new thing. It's just that, you know, it's probably going to a whole nother level at this point, because it's like, you know, they said that human trafficking is something that's been going on for a long time. I really feel like that's like a part of what, you know, what happened to like a lot of the Moors and stuff. Like, they were going down a path that was, you know, that they had to be stopped.
They had to be involved in that because all the shipping, them niggas was running that shit. They were the ones that was, you know, people couldn't move goods without their okay. You know what I'm saying? So no, yeah, they had to have been involved in it.
Yeah, you know, when we look at a certain period of time, like, I mean, I think that the Moors of today have, much different than what they got to, because I mean, like what Letha was saying, man. I mean, uh absolute power will corrupt absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. It's a part of what I think has become human, what is human nature to some extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think those who cannot balance those things goes deeper down that well, but because not everybody is into that kind of stuff, but those who end up getting exposed, like, it only gets worse for them. Like, they need to see more. They need to, okay, well, dang, I think they get bored with other shit, and now it's like it only takes certain things for them to get off. So I mean, it's no, I'm not making any excuse for them. It's just more of a way to kind of give more clarity to, I'm sure there's a deeper history to all of this.
I think it goes to what Gorilla was saying earlier, because it has to do with power. Because once you have this power to do whatever the hell you want, like literally whatever you want.
Yeah. At a drop of a dime, I mean.
Because that's what slavery was all about. You have the complete power over these people and even their lineage, like even their children. That's so crazy. You can be poor, but if you have a slave, you rich as hell. You got a person that you can just do whatever with and make them do whatever. I think in our society, I think a lot of times we see kids as slaves anyways. I see a lot of parents treating their kids like slaves. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool at all. I don't agree with that shit. And how people abuse their children physically when they be hitting them all the time. Again, all that's slavery, right? Like, do whatever I say, I'm going to beat you. I know a lot of y'all out there probably don't hear me, but that's what that is, I really don't like it when I see it from parents, treating their children like slaves. Like they're not your slave, bro. Like, just because you birthed them or whatever, that doesn't mean that you can't own a human. You know what I mean? The universe doesn't work that way. At some point, you're going to be gone, and they're going to still be here. You know what I mean? So you didn't own them. That makes me sad. I don't know how I got on that. Let's watch this. While we try to get everybody back in, I'm gonna share screen with this YouTube video. Because it's all one party, y'all. Stop trying to think that it's freaking two parties.
The United States is on pace to spend over $7 trillion over the next 10 years for the Pentagon. To put that number in perspective, the U.S. spends more each year on the military than China, Russia, India, the UK, Germany, France, Japan, South Korea, and Australia combined. While Republicans and Democrats have sharp disagreements over the much smaller Build Back Better legislation, there's largely a bipartisan consensus when it comes to the military budget and foreign military intervention. The end of today's show with investigative journalist Jeremy Scale of The Intercept. His latest article headlined The War Party. From Bush to Obama and Trump to Biden, U.S. militarism is the great unifier. Welcome to Democracy Now! Welcome back, Jeremy, former producer at Democracy Now! Why don't you lay out your thesis?
Well, you know, Amy, on the anniversary of 9/11, I was being asked to write pieces and to make media appearances because of the work that I had done throughout the War on Terror that culminated with the film and book Dirty Wars, where I was investigating the CIA and the Joint Special Operations Command and this expanding drone program, and how the United States, under Barack Obama in particular, had moved toward a radical attempt to normalize and legitimize assassination as a central component of American national security policy. And of course, you and Juan know well that the U.S. has long engaged in assassination and political assassination, but presidents have found a way around actually owning the fact that they were authorizing assassination. And under Obama, the term du jour was targeted killing. Now, under Joe Biden, we see them increasingly use the phrase over-the-horizon operations. And I hesitated to write anything on the 9/11 anniversary because I sort of came to the conclusion that we obsess far too much about the way in which 9/11 impacted the world. It is indisputable that the U.S. response to the 9/11 attacks altered geopolitical realities in the world and certainly altered the future of countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and the broader Middle East. But ultimately, I concluded that there's a sort of inherent intellectual dishonesty to pretending that the United States was not already on this trajectory prior to 9/11. And so what I'm trying to do in this piece is just establish some basic facts that we can use as a basis for discussing the U.S. role in the world. And that is that prior to 9/11, the U.S. was already on a course to do regime change in Iraq. In 1998, the bipartisan Iraq Liberation Act was passed that codified regime change as the policy of the United States government. It was largely the work of the neoconservative Project for a New American Century. But even then, Congressman Bernie Sanders voted in favor of making regime change the law of the land in the United States. Bill Clinton had already moved toward small wars, as they say, and using remote lethal strikes, although they weren't really using weaponized drones under Clinton. They were being developed, but they didn't use them. They were using more legacy systems like cruise missiles to attack Afghanistan under Clinton, Iraq on an average of almost once every 3 days under Bill Clinton. And of course, the first attempt to kill or assassinate Osama bin Laden that we're aware of happened under Bill Clinton. So you had a foreign policy that was already moving toward a very radical embrace of this notion that the U.S. has the sovereign right to bomb any country anywhere, regardless of what the U.S. Congress had to say about it. And in fact, Joe Biden, as a senator in the late 1990s, was the chief congressional architect of Bill Clinton's 78-day bombing campaign of then Yugoslavia, which was done by Clinton over the explicit objection of the U.S. Congress. So on 9/11, you have these neocons come to power, the Bush-Cheney administration, with real veterans of Washington. They knew how to move the levers of power. And they also knew how to exploit the fear, the anger of the American people at the 9/11 attacks. And what we saw, Amy, was the Democratic Party just fall in line behind the Bush administration at every turn. And throughout the 8 years of Bush and Cheney, the Democrats would raise holy hell about certain war issues and the Iraq War. But when it actually mattered, when it was the Patriot Act, when it was the authorization for the use of military force, when it was the Iraq War, the kingpins and queenpins of the Democratic Party aided and abetted a militant neocon agenda. And we could talk a lot about Barack Obama, but in short, Barack Obama, when he campaigned in 2008 against Hillary Clinton in the primary and then against the notorious militarist John McCain in the general election, one of the main reasons why his campaign caught such fire was this notion that he represented something different than the bipartisan war party. And of course, what ended up happening when Obama comes into power is he lets the CIA off the hook. He lets Donald Rumsfeld and the other torture architects off the hook. And then he radically expands some of the worst aspects of the so-called war on terror and uses his credibility as a constitutional law scholar, as the first black president, as a sort of guy that was perceived as being a different kind of politician to push the U.S. Imperial agenda on a militarist level beyond what a John McCain would have done because he got the Democratic Party to support it.
Okay, that was a mouthful. Hopefully y'all was following that.
I caught a little bit of it, and can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I caught a little bit of it, but yeah, he spoke some words that I've been like, I wish I could have articulated as well, but it's on you.
Yeah, I'm trying to help the guy get on. I don't know why he's not. But anyways, damn it. I lost my train of thought. Clinton, you mentioned Clinton earlier, and that's what really I had saw this video earlier anyways, but when you was talking about Clinton, you mentioned to him because we were talking about Epstein and then like Chelsea Clinton and the wedding with Ghislaine Maxwell. And so that made me think about this too. So like all this shit is connected, but the main point is that, you know, it's one party. You know what I mean? It's the Republicans and Democrats. It's an illusion. You know what I'm saying? And on this topic, it's clearly seen. The guy laid it out how, you know, they follow right along with each other. You know, didn't matter if they were Republican or Democrat. You know, as the administrations go on, they just continued on with what the fuck the previous administration did.
Well, one thing, I mean, because we can't forget, we're talking about one bird. We never.
Damn, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. Technical difficulties, you guys. Freaking maybe I'll play a little bit more of this video while we try to get him back. I don't know where did Curtis go? I was gonna only play a little short video about war.
Are there any discernible differences that you can tell in the approaches to this imperial policy of the United States between the recent?
You there?
Yeah, man. Like, I want to talk about this, but my phone is tripping.
Yeah. Go ahead,
bro. Because I mean, a lot of us forget because, like, you know, like I said, this whole propaganda that is, you know, being played on us, TV and internet now and all this, that, and the other, but it's one bird.
Yeah.
There's a, you know, and that one thing that's added with a hyphen in front of it, it doesn't matter if it's conservative or liberal. When it comes to neo, when they put that neo conservatives and neo liberals or whatever,
Yeah. It's the same.
the neo joins them together. But like I said, I mean, even, you know, in our, you know, without the neo, these people, they're part of one bird, and they have an agenda that's been, you know, like a lot of times 100-year, 200-year, you know, places where they expect for us to be, you know, even if it's as little, you know, because it's all the way down to a 10-year plan, 20-year plan on up. So let's just not forget that. And, you know, there's connections of Obama with the Bushes way before either one of the kids will become
Right.
presidents.
Right. There's a story related to that, and it's why he be giving her candy. You know, I watched a video on YouTube that explained that
I
shit.
mean, but that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize. Like, I mean, this whole thing about the bloodline and them, you know, being connected at, you know, at some point. Like, Obama's mother is blood related to the Bushes. It has to be even to the Trumps, because I mean, anybody that's hit the presidential office has to be connected in that way. You know.
Yeah, they don't
And
play when it comes to that shit.
yeah, and there's a girl that proved it. You know, she did the background of all the presidents and showed that all of them went back to some king that existed years ago. But however, I mean, you know, and you got to think about that was one of the thoughts I had before I forget it. One of the thoughts I had too was that with them running across the world with all these wars, they can, like, that's like the easiest way for them to do human trafficking, like, you know,
Exactly.
worldwide.
Exactly. Because what else is war anyways? You know,
Yeah.
because you got to move people. You moving people from here and you're moving people from there. That's pretty much what war is.
As we turn to Barbados,
Did you hear about Barbados? I think I mentioned it earlier in one of the videos, how they no longer going with the Queen no more, and they're doing their own thing now.
They're actually setting up a different style government.
Right. I came here. I was gonna get them out to drive for you, but yeah, let me check it.
So is this now like independent? Like they're going
Yeah,
independent now?
completely. Like they because I think they had already done that, but they still had connections with the Queen, and it's weird because if you do research on that, there's other countries that's like that too, like Canada, that you think are, but they're still kind of like colonies.
Oh
But
no,
anyways,
they're totally still you know, governed by the, you know, queenship or kings, you know what I'm saying, under the royal family.
Yep. All right, check this.
Which has just become the world's newest republic. At a ceremony on late Monday night, Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as the first president of the Caribbean island.
Possessing a clear sense of who we are and what we are capable of achieving, in the year 2021, we now turn our vessel's bow towards the new republic. We do this so that we may seize the full substance of our sovereignty.
Barbados became an independent country 55 years ago in 1966, but Queen Elizabeth remained the official head of state until now. Many other former British colonies, including Canada, Australia, and Jamaica, still have a similar arrangement with the British monarch. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley had pushed to cut ties to the Queen, saying it was time for Barbados to break from its colonial past. The move comes as calls grow for the United Kingdom to pay slavery reparations to Barbados. Ahead of the ceremony, Barbados held a national service of thanksgiving, where Barbados Senator and Reverend John Rogers spoke.
That's enough. What's up, Curtis?
What's up, bro? Hey, man, you see, if you looked at the chat log?
Yeah, I just blocked that dude. I just blocked him right now. I don't know how these weirdos are getting in here. I just blocked him right now. That's why I needed an administrator. Some dude was on there saying some weird stuff.
Okay, I don't have my chat open, so I didn't see it.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think y'all can block them too. I think y'all can block them.
Yeah, I can. It doesn't mean that he won't be able to. Yeah, I think he did the right thing. Hopefully, I keep him on. I'm sitting there looking at this crap. I'm like, what the hell is this, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Oh, you talking about you talking about there was somebody? You talking about the spamming stuff?
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah, I saw some of the shit earlier. I blocked it, and then dude must have came with another profile and did it again. So, but it's whatever.
Yeah,
part of the game, I guess.
It's a part of the game. Yeah.
It's like, damn, man.
So,
is it
like,
that bad?
What do y'all think about that? Barbados, and then they said reparations. They said the word reparations for Barbados from and no more queen, and they got a president and all that now. What do y'all think about that?
You know, that's something I gotta think on, man. That's I don't know. I'm sure I have some thoughts about it, but it's not so clear right now. Because, you know, like I said, I mean, because for whatever reason, I was a bit confused because I was like, okay, wait a minute, just now, like they're having independence, but they had, you know, and I don't know, I'm hesitant to say.
They explain more in this video, and you know, there's a, it, like I say about everything, though, you know, you have to, you know, dig around in it, you know, to try to understand it, because there was things happened before. It was a process to get to this point, and that's what a lot of things is like. Puerto Rico doesn't have. They're kind of like a colony still.
Yeah, they're like a sub state, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I would call that a colony.
Well, yeah. We were saying it at the same time, but yeah, I agree. Yes, we'll just go with it's a colony.
Because that's what
but it can be limited on its resources, like, you know what I'm saying? You see how the U.S. handled them in the last decade, you know. So
that's what I be saying. That's what I be saying. They got control over that shit. And fucking what I say, the contemporary history, they teach us history in a certain way where we be talking about colonies and shit. And then they just changed the way we use the word for contemporary. That's the reason why, recent history is always controversial. Have you ever heard that before? Like, historians always want to study something that was further away. Once you start getting closer to now, it becomes very controversial.
Well, and the terminology is one of the real key things, because, you know, if you're not really, like, a lot of things are hidden within the words, because, you know, if we, you know, like now they're trying to use indentured servants instead of slaves. You know, it takes away some of the you know,
Sting.
it takes the steam off of
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really give people true context of what really was happening, you know, in these different periods. And you know, or maybe they tried at the time when they were using the term slave that they were being more excessive to make it seem like they had more control than what they really did. We don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? For somebody who didn't actually live during that time, and we're trusting people who you know, who wrote on these subjects or maybe even creating curriculums based on a certain agenda, because I've seen it that way many a times. I mean, they continue to call us Africans, and you know, like
And
shit,
and
Africa.
it's one of the main ways everything gets done is with the pen. They change the names of stuff, and that's how they fucking fuck with history. And also it causes people to have a disconnect from now to the history that they learned, because you call it something different now, so they don't realize it's really the same shit that they was teaching you in school. Like like it's literal slaves still in places around the world right now today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, how about Africans on African?
Like, I don't know, my brain just you just twisted my shit up. I got
Africans on. Well, I mean, because I mean, when you do the research, I mean, Africa was named after
What the
a
fuck, man?
European woman. So Africans on that's a name that they put on it at a certain point. I mean, it was something totally like the people, the indigenous people of Africa, or what we call Africa now, called it something totally different. And it wasn't really even, you know, like they didn't look at it as like a continent or whatever. Like it was just like even today, like they have countries. I mean,
because
even though
that's what
each
I was gonna say though, because different tribes or whatever had different names for, because they all lived in different parts of it, and they probably didn't even know how big it was or where it ended or whatever. They had a name for the land that they lived on. You know what I mean? So that's how that worked. But I don't know. I saw a video about the naming of Africa, and it was interesting. I might look it up and play it for y'all next time, because it was interesting about how, because when you think about how the names came about for a lot of stuff, because America, you know, California, you know what I'm saying? There's more. The states up in the middle, like Montana and I can't think of it. I think Missouri. Like, these names come from stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and tell stories. They tell stories about how things got to be the way they are now. The California story is really interesting. How that name came about. Yeah. Yep. You know, freaking Texas is Mexico. I mean, I'm confused now. What's up? What's up, Curtis? What's up?
What's up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What did you think about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial and all of that stuff? That's what we was talking about, Epstein and all that.
Maxwell. Who? Like I just got on. I didn't see a lot of the show. And I'm not familiar with this trial. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He said supposedly the Romans named it after Afri tribe they encountered. Equal the original name was Alkebulan, mother of mankind, or Garden of Eden. I've heard that before, but there's more to that than that. And then because it has to do with the ka, or the breath, it's like it's the breath of life or something like that, the breath of the land, something like that. Ka. And then Pat say I give up. You could just make comments, bro. He's in the middle of Kentucky, trying to do the show. I don't know why StreamYard won't let Doc get on. It's not nothing I'm doing because it doesn't give me no option to do nothing for your thing. So what you think about the Epstein? Because Ghislaine Maxwell is on trial right now, and also they have plaintiffs. It looked like they got plaintiffs. They're going in on the entertainment industry related to like sex trafficking and shit.
Yeah.
So the entertainment industry is getting Me Too connected to Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you think about that?
Man, honestly, bro, I don't have too much to say right now. I don't. Like I said, some of the subjects that you got going right now, like I'm not enlightened.
So I'm not enlightening you.
I guess you could say, man, I'm messing with you, but yeah, man, I just got on to make sure you saw what was on the chat, man.
Yeah.
If I bumped into something, you know what I'm saying, then yeah.
You see this picture on the screen right here?
Yeah, it's your family.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Why?
It's cool because Tariq was in the picture.
Your son?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what makes it cool. You ever seen any of these like robots? They go by themselves.
I saw you posted the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you post a couple of videos of them delivering food.
Yeah. That's just so cool to me.
Yeah, man. Something's wrong with you. You got issues.
Them things go by themselves, bro. That shit is cool as fuck.
I know.
Yeah, that's me being me, crazy as I am.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. She said, I let a short dude cuddle me one time and it felt like I had a backpack on. That's me. Lil Nas X is out here with some. That's Lil Nas X with a.
I know who the fuck that is, man, but man, come on.
Carry on. It says, you'll be surprised how many people don't speak to you, but speak on, of, and about you. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, freaking Kevin Gates ass. That nigga's it.
Who the hell was, man? I ain't gonna get at you right now, man.
That's that nigga Kevin Gates. Humanity at its finest. Angels of Mercy doing welfare checks on some of our essential workers. The truck drivers.
Yeah, I know, right?
Damn, bro. This shows our society. Look at this. It's not funny, but it's funny. It's very, very sad.
What does it say? My son, your stomach fighting against playing. Oh my god. Man, that's just fuck, man. I hate this place, bro. God, I hate this place. I do, bro. I'm not gonna even lie. I hate this place, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I was sick as fuck. I lost my voice for like 2 days and shit. I could talk, but barely and shit. I was fucked up.
Yeah.
Look at this one. I seen this meme all the time. It's like poly or open relationship. Nobody cheating. They didn't rip the door down. They didn't broke the door open. It's
funny,
so
man.
dumb. It's so dumb how people think, man. And
It's bad.
whenever I mention polygamy, they just be like, "Oh my God, that's like against God." But they willing to cheat. And it's all about economics, because that's the reason why we can't build up the empires. We can't build up our households, is because the households keep getting broken up. You know, all your exes should be all working together for the sake of the children as a group, instead of competing with each other.
Yeah.
And y'all can just build y'all economics together.
Yeah.
But instead, every time we break up, we gotta fucking start over.
Well. How these people, they don't want success. You want this shit for free, bro. You want to be giving this shit, man. Like, honestly. I don't believe people, man. You really want this shit? Well, go figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Go out here and be one of the fucking crazy people. I'm saying put together a fucking plan and figure this shit out, man. Plan don't work, revise the bitch and do it again. It's not rocket science. This coming from a nigga that ain't rich. I'm like, well, shit, man. Like, ugh. Anyways, yeah, I hate this place.
That's what Jay Lethal got, that clip that he plays on his channel. It's like the little kid, he's like, I hate this house. I hate this house. And the little kid runs
Jalen
out
Smith,
the front
man.
door. And then he does do that one too. Is the I hate it here. I hate it here. It's so sad when you live in Babylon. Like, you can't escape it. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
When you have so many dumbasses, when you have so many zombie robots around you, you can't even fucking, like, you're not safe.
Yeah.
Says, let the facts come out. I hope she makes a deal. No names. Clean out some of the Hollywood weird and DC elite. She not gonna snitch, bro. She not gonna snitch. She's solid as a rock. She's not gonna snitch. And I think that's the reason why they killed Epstein anyway, because he threatened to snitch. Each robot is one less job for a human.
I'm saying, talking about, I guess you're talking about some robots
that have a plan. Keep ignoring people that have a plan. That's how them bitches.
Yeah.
Females. And they're willing to sleep with Pookie and let him sleep on their couch.
Yeah.
Home Alone house, Airbnb. They sell everything. What does this say? Oh man, be careful with that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It says, how did the Omicron variant get into Australia if the unvaxxed can't leave or enter? This is where the narrative falls apart. If people can't see it now, there is no hope. We have to stand up once and for all. It will never stop. He said, how did the Omicron variant get into Australia if the unvaxxed can't leave or enter? You have to think about that shit. So,
Yeah.
Think about that.
Well,
think about that. Take that in. So either it was the vaccinated people who moved it over there, or it came with, like, I don't know, some birds or mosquitoes or bats or something.
Yeah.
So
Had to come with birds. Mosquitoes don't fly that far or live that long.
I'm just saying. So the people can't move around, and then they're doing the South African travel bans and shit.
Yeah.
Telling the people they can't move around when the damn disease is already everywhere. Like you telling people they can't move around, and the damn disease is done already moved around. It's already everywhere.
You see why I got trust issues, man? That's why, man. Like, damn. I gotta think about that kind of shit all the goddamn time, man. I was like, what the fuck?
It says this is the man who came up with African American. Melville June Herkovitz was an American anthropologist who helped establish African and African American studies in American academia. He is known for exploring the cultural continuity from African cultures as expressed in African American communities. So this is pulled
How's
from
that
Wikipedia.
work out?
Yeah, that's pulled from Wikipedia. So, and I don't
Hey,
know.
but how's that work out?
What does this say? As steamships were less dependent on wind patterns and new trade routes opened up, the steamship has been described as a major driver of the first wave of trade of globalization and contributor to an increase in international trade that was unprecedented in human history. Because I know that this picture right here is not a real picture, because I remember studying this. It says plan a lower deck stowage of 292 slaves, 130 of these being stowed under the shelves and shown in. I don't know why, and why they got this all together with the steam. Like, this is so, like, confusing. Like, they got, like, this is yeah, I'm gonna keep scrolling because I just got irritated with that. It's supposed to be history, but they got, like, some jumbled up trash together.
Hold on, let me move my TV.
It's supposed to be history, but they got, like, some jumbled up trash. It says Joe Biden sounds like he's reading a script that you wrote by continuously pressing the predictive text feature on your phone.
Say it again.
He says Joe Biden sounds like you're doing great, and that we can all be in a job that you have a good question about it. It's funny. They're talking about Joe Biden sounds like how you press your phone and then it just suggests the next word. He says that's what his speeches sound like. Oh man, the further we stray from nature, the more destructive we become. This is what I've been screaming for the longest. This is what we need. This is what our focus needs to be on.
That's so goddamn true.
Our focus needs to be going back to nature. That's it.
Yeah.
It says robot company offers to pay $200K to use one person's face and voice forever. Damn. Genetic testing. Let's read some comments. I purchased one a couple years ago. I opened the box, but something told me not to even open the bag with the tester in it, LOL. It's still there catching dust, LOL. Then I went to Ghana. I found out. Don't trust. I really don't want some random corporation having access to my genetic material. Anybody remember Henrietta Lacks? And these businesses are quick to change the laws and rules on you so that they can screw you over or make changes at a moment's notice. Once you give it to them, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. How do I scroll? You're talking about genetic testing and shit, like most of these genetic testing companies don't even use the same database. Shit, a whole scam. Talk to your elders. They hold the access to where you come from if that's a possibility for you. I really like that's the best comment I read so far. I think it's a scam. I haven't done it. I really just think it's a scam. I think they're just ripping people off straight up. This guy says, yes, I've done it. No, I don't trust it. Duality. Okay. If that makes sense to you. I don't like that I had to resort to it, but I am adopted. It actually worked out in my favor. I'm half Nigerian. My aunt found me, and then I got my father's name. My father came to U.S. for school and returned home. Without the test, I would have never been found. I am Ogoni from Southeast Nigeria. I was also able to meet my father and my sister before they died. For adopted, fostered, orphaned people, it is often the only way to connect to blood family. That's one thing to think about. I never really thought about it like that. It says, what are the cons against it? I understand the speculation, but if you ever had any kind of blood test or hospital interaction in the U.S., then they already have your information. Oh, dun, dun, dun. Damn, bro, you just punched me in the chest. J Biz the hell. Thanks for the punch in the chest, buddy. Thanks for that. Oh, shit. Pass somebody up. Know something about paying white people to tell me where I'm from don't sit well with me. Are you talking about gene testing to see if you have already? This is a comment by this guy. He said, know something about paying white people to tell me where I'm from don't sit well with me. I have done it for personal reasons, both Ancestry, DNA, and 23andMe. It has connected me to some of my dad's biological family, and for that I am forever grateful. The reward was greater than the risk for me. So, like, at the end of the day, you can't judge people for the decisions that they make, especially when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with the whole with the mandates, the vaccine mandates and stuff. I think the most important thing is that, you know, these people should have their choice. That's the page that we're on right here.
Man.
Yeah, this chick's page is very good. It says, honestly, this whole conversation is not black or white. There is so much healing to be done with our community. For me, I agree with something in each tweet, but context matter. I believe in pushing family and being intentional for both sexes. I don't think the majority of single mothers planned on being a single parent, and it's unfair to place blame on mothers who untimely are still in the child's life. Also know that life happens and people switch up in isolated situations. Yet for women who have a pattern of choosing terrible men and men who have a pattern of vibrating low, there needs to be self-accountability and standards raised. We need to stress family values, family is legacy, and ultimately, men, you propose and lead the family. Comments. Damn, I don't know how to scroll this without going. A lot of people don't want to admit that most of the dysfunctional patterns are normalized now. We have to admit that first. Damn it. I don't know how to do this. If he's such a leader, why is he having an unprotected sex with women he doesn't want to co-parent with? I just got older and got married. I began feeling how problematic it can be push a family's leadership.
That last one doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. As I got older and got married, I began feeling how problematic it can be push a family's leadership solely on a man, especially since relationships in general, marriage, are casual or co-ops. Yeah. I think sometimes people don't be knowing, they don't make sense. And the males in our community refuse to accept and take on the leadership role. They compare themselves to women instead of other men. It's just all messed up.
Wow.
I agree with all that you stated and would add that families can be what you make them to be, traditional and non. Our sense of community isn't limited to exist on one way, or we should consider that when making family decisions, we can work effectively together if we could get out of our own way and hold ourselves and each other accountable. That was the best comment so far, I think. Women should be able to choose motherhood even if a man isn't simultaneously choosing fatherhood with her, for two reasons. The first being that we all know what biological actions lead to fatherhood, and that is a choice. Secondly, if a village is ready to assemble behind a mother, who the father actually doesn't matter as much, overvaluing the role of men in families and culture plays a role in the him of being at harm. Hold on. Overvaluing the role of men in families and culture plays a role in the harm of them being absent. What? Oh my God. I got to read this again. Women should be able to choose. She's from the beginning. She says, women should be able to choose motherhood even if a man isn't simultaneously choosing fatherhood with her, for two reasons. The first being that we all know what biological actions lead to fatherhood, and that is a choice. Secondly, if a village is ready to assemble behind a mother who the father actually doesn't matter as much, overvaluing the role of men in families and culture plays a role in the harm of them being absent. This bitch is in fucking insane, bruh. Like, this is the problem. This is the problem. This shit right here is the problem, bruh.
Yeah.
Oh, the value of, like, he doesn't, the line about him doesn't even matter. You're a sperm donor. You don't matter. Let's move on. I also think this type of conversation shouldn't be had on social media. It's just weird. It should be happening in our homes and communities. Why even make that comment? Go sit down.
You just did it.
go sit down. Please.
You just fucking did it. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Our community has to make healing a priority first before we move forward with anything. Many of us are stuck in survival mode and aren't ready to seek counseling or go to therapy because that requires the shadow work that needs to be done in order for us to maintain healthy long-term relationships. And typically, growth usually comes with discomfort. Many of us don't know our values because our values were given to us by the system. We don't know how to establish boundaries because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or being seen as bad simply off the fact of protecting our energy. We have to heal that inner child first, and then we can move forward building long-term healthy relationships. And it's not our individual problem to carry the burden of someone else who don't want to seek healing. Once we get out of the fight or flight mentality and embrace healing, then we can proceed with more meaningful connections. Wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. I really want to finish that one off. That was really good.
That was good.
Meaningful connections, because we develop the tools to communicate effectively and peacefully. A village is only as strong as its households. Oh my God. Very, very great and perfect comment.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I've been missing the comments. Great question. It muted. It didn't enter. I don't know why it didn't come in. The experimental HIV treatments and the poke got all up in each other and mutated. It flew through the media. I don't know what he's talking about. All the genealogy companies are just collecting data and telling people lies about where you're from. I swear, that's what I think they're doing. I swear. I think they're just ripping people off, just telling you random shit. Like, it's so fucked up. He says she is thinking selfishly, what a child that will always seek the missing parent, especially if there's unresolved loss. I mean, I don't get why we have to prove our value, bro. Like, that's what bothers me so fucking much, bro. It bothers me so fucking much. This probably why I'm single right now, is because I feel like I have to prove that I'm
you hear
value.
Yeah. And it's like never ending and it can go on forever.
Yeah, I constantly have to keep reassuring that, you know, I'm here and I'm a provider and I can do all of this. I got to keep on reassuring you of who I am or whatever.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point I might decide to go get a pack of cigarettes and never come back or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, I just got myself upset just now.
I was about to say, yeah, you look like you want to be punched in the mouth.
She says, I agree with your caption 100%. The slide about women undermining men's leadership by having babies has me thoroughly confused, though. Like, were these leaders held down against their will, or... Yeah, because I think that she's talking about the overall comments that was made at the beginning, and it did have a bit of feminism in there. That's why you got these chicks like the one that was up there with the totally insane comment.
Yeah,
there are more married black men than married black women, and 43% of black men said they are looking for commitment compared to 25% of black women. The fact is that breakdown is marriage is coming only for one side. So basically that if those statistics are real, it's saying that the women are the ones that's not wanting to get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the one. If that's what that's saying. Is extreme enough to considering arranged marriage yet? Because the generalizations of whataboutisms cloud and stagnate the conversation. I don't know what you mean by that comment, brother, because that's kind of weird. Anyways, we would never make it with monogamy.
Well, I guess if we were in some kind of shortage or, you know, like there's some kind of birth shortage. No, I don't think it's that extreme that we have to start arranging marriages and shit.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think it's
that extreme, but something needs to happen, you know? Like something needs to happen.
I get that.
In a direction that we're going as a whole, man, the first scene results are not good. I'm just saying, you know, it's just not good as a whole, man. No, and it's like no one can actually see this. It's like it's not even fucking happening, and that's what irritates me. Like it's not happening. It's like, what the fuck?
And it's right there in your face. You just
in your fucking face. It's right there in your goddamn face. So I don't know.
This next guy's comment, he says, we will never make it with monogamy I tell my women family, allow your man to be a man. When will we put the YT people idea of love away? Our families will be whole.
What is this YT people?
I think that means white people. Not
Okay.
Brittany Renner saying something, especially after grooming that dude, creating a false relationship, and then dropping him a week after the baby popped out for his money. She needs to sit down and hush up. Every other slide is valid, though. Because that fits in this conversation. You know the Brittany Renner situation, right? You know who that is?
I have an idea.
She's basically just like an internet chick, like a what do they call it? A fucking public figure or whatever they call it. Like she's famous for no fucking reason at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she had a baby with the basketball player and she getting child support. It's like that was the whole plan and shit. That's the kind of shit that they're doing. That's the kind of shit that they're on.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Not all of them, but some.
Yeah.
This comment says, it's important for us to look at the most important foundation of any family, and that is trust, honesty, and transparency. We have to be willing to have discussions and provide viable solutions on issues about sexuality, intimacy, and what that actually means. Both men and women must be sexually responsible in courting as well as dating. We must teach children early the importance of proper sexual etiquette, sexual hygiene, and why men and women must learn to communicate to each other and not at each other. Men and women are different, and they do not think or act the same, and women must understand that men are not going to be like your girlfriend. So in relationships, it is essential that women go into it understanding that men are different. Hold on, let me see. This is a good kind of. Also, women must be willing to accept that men are not going to be perfect. So I think that's a pretty good comment. Communication, you know, teaching the kids about sexuality and sexual hygiene. Like, you know, it's so crazy that we live in a country that's so scared to teach our kids about this kind of stuff. Like, it's like all this religious stuff is getting in the way of.
I don't think it's important. Like for real.
Sexual hygiene is not important?
Dude, no. I'm not saying from my own standpoint. I don't think it's important. That's why it's not being taught. It's not important.
Yeah. To them, that's how they feel. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Well, they're wrong because it is important. It's very important, you know. Knowing about STDs, knowing how to protect yourself, knowing how to make babies. Some kids don't even really know what it is.
Bro, this is so simple. It's so simple to teach that. That's why I say I don't think it's important, you know? It's so simple to teach this shit, dude. I've never had an STD. I've never, you know, I'm not saying that.
So who taught you?
Yeah, I really couldn't even tell you, to be honest. I really couldn't even tell you. I just kind of knew what the fuck not to do. I knew what to look for. I honestly couldn't even tell you.
So you don't think you was ever really sexually educated, like educated about sex? You don't remember having a class or a conversation with a parent?
My education about sex was taught to me from my brother, and basically he taught me where to find the hole. I'm just like, oh shit, that's the extent of it. Like for real. So I was like, oh, okay. But figuring out what to do and what not to do, man, that happened. You know, something ain't right, don't do it. I mean, you got those senses. You know when something ain't right.
But see, that's terrible. That is
very
horrible. Because that is the problem. That's how you make babies. That's how you spread STDs, is because you don't know how that it even happens or what they look like. We need to know the pictures, like what to look for, go down there and take a look. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
there's
I got
some
mine from common
indications.
sense.
But I'm just saying this stuff needs to be educated. It's so dumb that we live in a country that doesn't want to teach the children how to make how babies are made, how you can transfer sexually transmitted diseases, and how to have good sexual hygiene as far as like being clean and because that's part of how you get sick and get little, because it'd be like we talking about the big STDs, but there's little yeast infections and little bacterial infections that you get too from not knowing information related to bacteria and proper sexual hygiene. This stuff should be taught. They're gonna do it.
It shouldn't be that crucial, but man, it is.
They're gonna do it. There's no way around it. Sex is how life is created. We can't just avoid this conversation.
You sure?
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's
Yeah,
so
it
dumb. It's so dumb. It's the simplest thing. It's the simplest thing, and this will protect the kids. This will cut down on teen pregnancy. This will cut down on sexual violence too, because that's another part that should be taught. The kids being raped, because this goes into the whole concept that we're talking about with sex trafficking, because I'm talking about the community as a whole. The problem is with us, with the community. That's why sex trafficking is a thing, because it's not just, that's why they're big and powerful, because everybody is partaking in this shit. Like everybody is taking their own little bit of it that they want. Maybe they don't go as far as to go and have sex with children, but they take little bits, along the way. You get what I'm saying? Like us as a community. So we got to look at that. So that's the thing. So like if we was teaching these children about sex and about like rape, about like saying no and all of this shit, then that would help. You know what I mean? That would cut down on a lot of that shit. Like I say that we should be teaching manners in school anyways. Like we should be teaching how to be a good human. Like that should be a class.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, human rights, right? So if you believe in human rights, then you're not gonna want to rape someone.
We live in a world where people they feel that they can do anything that they want, man, and it's just not that damn moral, no matter how it's viewed. So with things like with sexual assault rate and stuff like that, if there's with the broken law system, if there's no repercussions for our actions and the way that we carry ourselves, then why not? You know what I'm saying? Why the hell not? Who's gonna stop me? You know, see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, why would they? We're not teaching it, and shit, you just as free as to go do whatever the hell you want. Simple as that. Shit. The mentality of some men, it's like, oh, I'll only get this. I'll only be in jail for this long and stuff like that. But it's nothing. This shit's a joke. It's a fucking joke.
For the internet for you to think about, but in reality, mature men and women with great social pragmatic skills aren't asking these questions because it is discovered through rapport building, through experiences, through conversations, through observations, weighing the tangibles and the intangibles, picking up on cues and viewing certain qualities of a person and seeing if that's a great fit for you. But another part of this conversation that is troubling to me is how people often view relationships as robotic and transactional. And I find that there's a level of insecurity that people project in these conversations where they want to exert power. And it's, what can you do for me? Or they're trying to size each other up and compare each other. And I've always said this, and I'll say it again. Divine men and women, we don't compete. We complement. We bring to perfection. That's it. What do you bring to the table? Such a weird question people ask.
Yeah, so she was saying, what do you bring to the table? And then she was like explaining what she feels about that question.
Yeah. I think that's an important question, though. That's a very important question. So you have to ask that. You find yourself into something you don't want.
I think the question should be worded different. It's like, what do you want out of this? What are you trying to do? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know, what is the goal?
Yeah, well, see, that's like a double-edged sword, man. Because if you're asking someone what can they bring to the table, it's insinuating that you already know what you bring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's kind of saying I know what I bring to the table. So
what do you got?
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah. She say policing Black women or correcting Black women. Let's hear this. It should be interesting.
Saw the viral video that people have been sending me of sisters dancing on tables in a restaurant setting. You know, we often speak about policing Black women, of us having agency and autonomy, and that's a valid discourse in itself. However, there are times when it's simply about having order. And many of us do not like that term because we associate it with control. It has a negative connotation. Understand that even nature has order. If we left the society and decided to live with the Centralese tribal wishes, they
She just said it.
So there are rules that are oppressive and ridiculous and we should not follow. But then there are rules that make sense. For instance, as a beautiful young Black queen, you just got your nails done, your makeup done, your outfit look proper. Why go on the people them restaurant table dancing next to food and drinks? It makes no sense. Furthermore, if we're gonna call ourselves top tier and hot gal and empress and goddess, then we have to discern and we have to know that there's a time and place. You understand?
She broke that down pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, she broke this shit down excellently. Yeah, order. But you ain't happy when it's there. But you ain't happy without it. I don't get that shit, man.
Because you can't satisfy humans, like, you know, people like they won't be satisfied for shit, bro. Like, like God gave you the garden. God gave you the Garden of Eden, and you was like, I don't like this shit.
No, even in that, it was like, hey, man,
it's too perfect.
It's like, hey, man, you can eat whatever the hell you want, run around naked, pet the animals, whatever. Here's a bitch for you. You got one goddamn rule: don't eat from this goddamn tree.
Yeah.
Just say. Man,
how you gonna tell me? Yeah, I want to eat from that tree. How you gonna just tell me what? No, man, I'm leaving here.
No, man.
I ain't doing this, man. You can't just be telling me what trees not to eat from.
The nigga say, no, it's her fault.
she made me do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
And he's like, oh Lord, people they still live by this shit to let you know it, bro. It's like, hold on, man. You had one goddamn rule, and I gotta live by this shit. This is the shit that I have to live by because your ass fucked up. How is this my fault? How is this my fault? I don't have to live by this. But yeah, goddamn.
I don't like the Garden of Eden. It's too nice here. You know what I'm saying?
So it's the exact same thing. Complained was obviously not satisfied while I was there. You had one goddamn rule not to break.
It's boring. You know what I'm saying? It's boring, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder what'll happen if I do eat that. Come on, man. I don't be getting this shit, dude. I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get it, bro.
It's like the button.
Fuck did that happen?
Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin, like it's like if there's a rope it's hanging down and the sign says "Do not pull," or it's a button that says "Do not push." Like,
hey, he's sitting there looking at the button like this. What are you saying? looking around right before he punched. Like, this nigga, you know, come on, bro. God.
That's humans. That's
Yeah,
us.
man.
That's
Yeah.
us right there. It's the
That's
sign said,
human,
do
bro.
not push, do not pull this rope.
It's like, dude, it's like putting down them hot ass plates. Hey, hey, man, that plate's hot. First goddamn thing they do, touch the fucking hot plate. It's like, fuck, man. I just told you it was fucking hot. I don't get it, bro.
I did all I could do.
My job is done.
You can lead a horse to water, but
you can't make him drink. God, that's funny, man. Yeah, it is.
I want to shed clarity on a notion that we shouldn't call locks dreads. I've seen countless memes differentiating the two, as well as pro-Black teachers and influencers teach that this term is negative or make claims about its history. The Mau Mau of Kenya were fierce warriors. They were skilled in their guerrilla warfare against the British Army, real militants, real iconoclasts. They locked their hair, and it wasn't the prim and proper fashion locks. They took pride not only in their appearance, but more importantly, their energy being dreadful. Now, early followers of Leonard Howell, a key proponent of the Black liberation movement, Rasta, not only adopted the hair, they adopted the philosophy. It was a compliment to say that you're putting dread, you're putting fear into the system, you're shaking up Babylon. You are a paradigm shifter. This is why we had popular artists such as Bob Marley sing Buffalo Soldier, Dreadlock Rasta, or reggae artist Chronix label an entire album called Dread and Terrible. I want to shed clarity on a notion that we shouldn't call locks.
that was very interesting. Yeah, I could talk about that. I don't know if I want to, but that's very, very, very interesting. Jah Rastafari. Hold it. Selassie. Anyways, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna go. It's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm over 3 hours.
I'm about to turn it into.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Good talk, though.
Yeah.
You gonna be on tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be on tomorrow.
All right, bro. I'm about to call it a night.
All right, bro. Thanks for being here.
All right, bro. Have a good night, man.
All right, you do the same.
Bet.
That dude really does go hard on his own. Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, HBCU grad, member of Delta Sigma Theta, first person to cure cancer with laser technology. Yeah. It says, never forget that Mitch McConnell blocked Merrick Garland 8 months before election, then confirmed Amy Coney Barrett 8 days before election, when 65 million had already voted, so she could take away reproductive rights and voting rights for millions of Americans. Y'all, I know y'all probably don't even know what he's talking about. It says, so vaccine mandates are an infringement of personal freedom, but abortion bans aren't. So this shit right here, Mitch McConnell, all that shit, man. And y'all will defend that shit because y'all don't really understand. What is this gonna do? What did it say? You arrive to her family reunion and you don't see none of those dudes she introduced to you as her brothers and cousins. Wait a minute. Where them niggas at? I'm probably gonna wrap it, y'all. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that school shooting. Is this the one? I don't know if that was it. I probably looked that shit up. I might talk about that in the show. That shit is crazy, man, that we keep having these things happen. You know, they're gonna make a whole documentary on this shit. It says, anyone want to comb through the new 704 Epstein flight logs accidentally released by the FAA to see if any of the CEOs who've stepped down in the last 2 days are on it? Dun, dun, dun. It says the NRA and its allies exploited COVID chaos to sell tens of millions of guns. So the number of kids living in U.S. homes with loaded, unlocked guns has gone up from 4.6 million in 2015 to 5.4 million in 2021. Most school shooters are students with easy access to guns in their homes. Yes. So this is what I be talking about. I don't agree with all of this because, like, the COVID, I would not agree that COVID is the reason why people buying guns. People buying guns for other reasons. But yes, access to guns is what matters, and they're getting it from their parents and shit. So that's why when that shit happens, the parents should catch cases. The parents should catch cases, serious ass cases, and be like, you know, you didn't have your weapon secured. Your child went and took it and went and killed some people at his school. So we got a case on you. Wow. Why isn't that happening? If that was happening, serious cases, give them serious cases like fucking manslaughter or something like that. Give them a real ass case. And I bet you them niggas gonna be putting their fucking guns up and making sure that their kids can't fucking sneak away. They're gonna know when their gun is not there. You should know where your fucking gun is at all times anyways. I mean, what parent, you know, what the fuck are y'all doing? Why can your kid can just go get the gun and just fucking go to school and shoot somebody? You're okay with that happening? Your gun should be secure all the time. Who the fuck has unsecured guns like laying around? Like a random person could just get the gun and shoot you. It don't even have to be your kid. What if your kid decided to shoot and kill you? Like your kid's like mad at you for you know, you told him not to do something or whatever, and now he go gets his gun and just pow. Your gun should be secure at all fucking times. What the hell is wrong with y'all? I'm not even gonna read that. Funny how this world is. The more shitty you treat a person, the more they gravitate towards you. But when you're nice to them, they shit on you. That's very sad but true. My freaking nose is itchy and it's getting late. And from the south. Kato done hit it big. I've been following this guy for a long time. He's got his track is that West Coast shit, that song with Ice Cube, Too Short, Snoop Dogg, and I can't think of the other guy from San Francisco. But yeah, so like they came out with an album. They're on tour, and that first song produced by this dude. I've been following this guy for a while. His beats aren't the best, but that just shows that you grind hard. You know, he been doing this shit for a minute. They used his beat for that song. It's a hit song too. Some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about, probably. Sammy Joe. Let's see.
When they attack black people after they've been murdered, when they did absolutely nothing wrong, you're pushing us to the limit. And what do I mean by that? You're asking us to talk about history, the history of the South. This is in Georgia. What happened in Georgia? There were savages in Georgia. It was the ancestors of the white right-wingers. They were absolute savages. They murdered people, they lynched people, they raped people, they enslaved people. They took babies from their mothers and sold them as property. You want to talk about savages? Your ancestors were the biggest savages the world has ever seen. So don't you dare call a black man a savage after you murdered him. Don't you dare do that. I'm so sick of African Americans being called violent when the world's worst violence was done to them, not by them, to them, not by them. For God's sake, you want to do racist stereotypes? If it fit anywhere, and it doesn't, but if it fit anywhere, it would certainly fit white right-wingers of the South, who has hundreds of years of history of being savages. Savages. They snatched babies and they sold them as property. And
Okay. That guy was emotional. It's kind of weird coming from him. You know, entertainment comes in all forms. Unfortunately for all of us, dating a guy who is nice to you, being obsessed with a guy who hates you, you're truly addicted to staying miserable forever. Man, all I can say is that these people are entertaining y'all. Entertainment. And really, don't nobody give a fuck. Nobody cares. So if anything is real or not, as long as they got entertained. So I guess that's the message for today. Oh, girl, she's not gonna snitch. Ghislaine Maxwell. She's not gonna snitch. Because if she was, she would have already did that. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it. I'll play a couple songs. Thank y'all for being here. Remember, don't take my word for it. Look this shit up. Remember, we want you to be an activist, you know? I'm sorry for not being on last week, but I'm going to keep my schedule for the rest of, you know, as far as we can see, you know, as, you know, what they say, inshallah. The Lord say the same. So, yeah, we're going to keep it moving. You know, I'm going to keep the schedule. I got some ideas already for the other shows. So, yeah, try to keep content coming from y'all. You know, I want feedback. I want y'all to make comments about, you know, ways to improve the show. I really would appreciate that if y'all could do that for me. Anyways, peace and love. Like I said, thank y'all for being here. Yeah. Y'all have a good night.
This chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. Yo, this trick is smoking my dang. I want her to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. I'm leaning to the side, man. Yo, everybody vibing, the lights flashing, ain't nobody hiding. We full of passion. I see this chick smiling with her action. She said she from an island. I'm just passing. I said stop lying. We started laughing. Girl, what you drinking? I'm on that captain. Now we on pink panties with a napkin. I got a blunt dipped in brandy that we passing. Now we leaning to the side in the bass bay. She feeling on my thigh, my chain swing. right now. The game changing, right on time now. We both swaying, do that new style now. Bojangles, I wanna see your tatas. Those jangles, what about your now guys? I need angles, call me your papa. Grab your ankles, move like chaka chaka. When it's anal, I got to get ya. And it's painful, split you like a swisher. With a label, you know we can make it without being naked. We can make them think we fake it, shake it, make me take it. Yo, this chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. This trick is smoking my dang. I want her to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. 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 If you got a cup, put that shit up. Lean it to the side, lean it to the side. If you got a fat cat and your drawers and bra match, lean it to the side, lean it to the side. If you just got off of work and your fucking feet hurt, lean it to the side, lean it to the side. If you shine fly and everybody know your ass high, lean it to the side, lean it to the side. If it's getting hot and you drink Henny on the rocks, lean it to the side, lean it to the side. If you a hot girl and you can stop and make it pop, lean it to the side, lean it to the side. Yo, this chick remind me my drink. Yo, this bitch is drunk on my drink. Yo, this trick is smoking my dang. I want her to stop, but I can't. I'm leaning to the side, man. 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 Yes, I am working on this shit. This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. I'm riding clean and I'm flying down the freeway. Nowhere to be, so I'm taking me a free day. Defensive driving, best to listen to what he say. I'm higher than a child on the first day of pre-K. Drive slow, ain't tripping on the delay. The cup I'm sipping on is giving dumb anyway. Anyway, the optimal ashes spilling on my cat case instead of the ashtray. Brush it off and keep it moving on. Shift my attention to what else I could be doing wrong. Sure, someone on my phone I could be screwing on. So you alone, bring your whole crew along. Sit around the table playing beer pong. She drunk, she bending over and she got a clear on. I'm looking from the back, man, I got an ass on. I wake up on my back, where the grass come from. This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene and you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. This damn green man, it's got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man, it's got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene, man, I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. I'm the king and we gon' do the things my way. I wanna see you in skinny jeans on Friday. When I'm leaning to the left, you better be leaning in the right way. Leaning in the right way. I'm cleaner than a washing machine. If you hyperallergenic, get your antihistamine. You're like a tight wad caught in between a foot of latrine and a pistol whipping fiend. Gotta get the cream is on top. ACE, we the team that won't stop. They calling me the dean cause I teach them what's hot. Thought you were the new thing, we can see that you're not. We have to get mean cause we're taking your spot. We wanna get a ring, sit in championship box. Call up your queens and tell them get clocks. When they see the muscle is supreme, your boys gon' kick rocks. This damn green man got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man got me sitting sideways. I'm on the scene and you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. This damn green man got me sitting sideways. This damn lean man I'm on the scene, and you know I'm sitting sideways. You don't feel like me, that's why you looking at me sideways. We thought you were the new thing, but we can see that you're not. Yo, we thought you were the new thing, but we can see that you're not. If you got your own and you clean, drop it like it's hot. If you got your own and you clean, drop it like it's hot. Everybody say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you gon' jock my side? Say wow. How you gon' jock my style?